Grand Rising, Grand Rising. We have the buzzing computer joining me, and we just slid into home, and we got the home run. But I was up so late last night. I was up until the sun came up after a couple of hours, and so I didn't get as much sleep. But it's okay because I have all day to sleep. But I'm not going to sleep all day because I'm going to do more stuff. Right. So checking in on the sound, because the sound last night on the show that we had, that was fabulous. The sound of my voice was off a little bit, and I'm going to make sure to correct that. So sometimes when you're talking, I'm going to just mute myself and check to see how it sounds, because I was falling off. But I found out that was on the settings on my side on the computer, the microphone settings, because the sound wasn't as in your face as it usually is. So anyway, How are you doing this morning, Empress G?
Good morning, Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. How are you? You said you're doing good. You didn't get enough sleep. Grand Rising, everyone. Let me say hello to y'all. Come on into the chat, all of you that are here. Let's come in and say hello, Grand Rising. Grand Rising, Superman Heru, good to see you. First person on deck. Nice, very nice. Maybe everybody that stayed up with the show last night, maybe they're tired. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's not like I'm dropping down tired, like, oh God, I'm tired and I just don't feel, because I walk around all day relaxed. I take frequent naps, so my reserves are full. So even now as I speak, I feel all right. I feel okay. So it's not like I've been dogging myself out like I did a few weeks ago, and I'm just dragging and I got to drag. This is not pleasant or whatever. I feel good. And that's what happens when you build your reserves up. So I've been pampering myself the last week or two since the flu. I've been pampering myself, and I continue to do so for the rest of my life. I learned my lesson, and
right.
obstacles to do with this computer, and probably run it through the other computer, but I'm not going to take a chance right now. We'll do it this way. But it's out. When you're through with something, it's like, okay, you're here now, but I'm getting rid of you. Yeah. So
yes,
it's interesting life we have. And ever since we started reading out of the Laws of Human Nature book, I've been applying those things to my own life, and I see so much.
Yes.
I see so different dynamics going on that I didn't see before. And I see a lot. I see a lot. And so I went even deeper in my meditation, thinking, and things revealing themselves to me. So, for those who, and I'm not throwing off at anybody who claims that they're Christian, but we have people in this world and in this life that can share things with us that may not come out of the Bible. You see what I mean? We're so used to this as Black people that, we can't go with nobody else's teaching. It's not about a spiritual teaching, but this is practical stuff, certain dynamics. Do you not go, when you go to Home Depot or Lowe's in America, a home improvement store, who don't know about that, but do you not go there? And if you want to learn how to run some pipes or look at some electrical or know how to do or run some light electrical work, don't you go and get a manual or a how-to book to go in there and learn how to do it? Or are you going to say, my pastor's not going to approve of this, and I'm just going to wait for inspiration from the Lord to come down and bless me? Come on. This is why other people are moving forward beyond us. And I'm not saying that as though we didn't have to deal with the 400 years of oppression or the systematic racism that keeps us down in an unseen for some and very seen way for a seen way for many others. I'm not denying that. But are we just going to sit down and say we're going to wait on the Lord, or we're just going to sit down and be mad and complain and wait for reparations when we are beyond the reparations inside of us. It's time for action. So why don't we get up and do a little something? We understand what's owed us. We understand what happened to us. I'm not one of the black coons who say, well, you know, you ought to pull yourself up by the bootstraps to appease the white slave master. No, I'll get up in their ass also. But I do think with each passing day, we need to do something a little kind of constructive going toward our future, regardless as to what is owed us and the pain we feel. We need to move forward. You about to say something?
Right.
Talk to me.
Talk to you. I'll talk to you. Listen, you know, you just said something about church and what have you, and you know, my brain is kind of foggy right now. I did tell you that my daughter tested, and
oh man,
yeah, she's coming around. Not, you know, the little one, you know.
Yes.
Well, she's not little, but anyway, the younger one.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she told me this over the weekend. I didn't want to get panicky and start, you know, speaking about it in the terms that they have put on it. So, oh, excuse me. I thought I had mentioned it to you, and I'm just thinking a while ago, because I know I talked to you about the church, and this is what I wanted to say as you talked about church.
Yes.
I'm not going to knock anybody who is in church still. All right. Because like we say all the time, people wake up at their own pace. You know, we can put certain things out there and we can talk about it. And if they hear it and they want to vibe with it, that's good. But if you're in an environment where when you have a need, there's no one to rally around you genuinely,
yes,
that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Okay. Like I said, my daughter is, you know, is what it is. She's got what she's got. She's in a church. It's a little local church, but it's a big local church, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
These people, they're not on the same level as a lot of these. This is an intellectual church. Let me put it to you that way. The pastor does not want to be called pastor. Because as far as he's concerned, he's on the same level as his members. So they're just one congregation of people coming together and worshiping. All right. Everybody has rallied around my daughter, and I couldn't be more grateful. And I'm saying that because I'm not where I can run and take care of her. Okay. I couldn't drop everything that I'm doing and be by her side and say, okay, I'm here. I can do for you. Right. And these people have rallied around my daughter and taken her on as their own. And every day somebody brings, whether it's food, fruits, juices, just, you know, knock on, you know, come and see and make sure that she's okay, that she answers her door. The pastor calls her every day to make sure that she's okay. He called me to let me know not to worry. He's got her. They've got her. They have doctors and nurses in the church.
The credit's due.
Yes. You know, I don't care what, right now, Brother Lance, I don't give two shits what anybody says. Okay? I don't care if anybody in the chat says you can't talk about church. I'm talking about church because this is one environment, you know, that I know, God forbid, and God has forbidden, my daughter gets sick. She's where people take her on as their own. It's a family, and they're taking care of her.
That's right.
You know? So that's what I just wanted to say when you said that. You know, I mean, like you said, give credit where credit is due. And she's feeling much better now. And honest to God, I really and truly, because I didn't tell anybody. I did not tell anybody because I honestly did not talk about it.
But you actually didn't tell me exactly that was
exactly what it was. Right, exactly, because I just don't want to put that word out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And give it a life of its own or whatever. Let her heal and come back around. And you know, once she's good. I mean, if it was worse, you know, I'll tell you. You know, come on. But you know, I just wanted her to get to a point where I knew she was okay. She called me last night, said she was feeling much, much better. Certain things are still a little off, but for the most part.
He's on the upswing,
right? Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say.
And I want to because no, go ahead, keep flowing.
Yeah, real quick. I see a lot of people just coming in. I see, I saw a young lady last night that I'd never seen her before, Khadija. Hi, good to see you in the chat with us, Grand Rising. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Eric. Hi, y'all. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kwame. How you doing? Synovia, Sunkissed, Queen Murat. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say that real quick because I know we're live, and when we're live, everybody wants. Hi, Indigo King wants to have their name called. So I'm just saying hello to everyone. Go ahead, Brother Lance.
Yes. I'm going to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Most people on the show know I go in on the church and I go in on Christianity, but at the same time, I have to say that there are a lot of hoteppers. There are a lot of paper-thin, cardboard cutout individuals who, and I'm not flipping, I'm just telling you like it is. Just listen to me, right? There are a lot of us who portray we need to come together as Black people. We need to come together and unify and do this and do that and white supremacy and all of this stuff. And they're effing frauds who will do the nastiest things to you. And I ain't going to stay on this particular aspect of it, but we do have churches that I'm glad you said that they're more of an intellectual church and a collection of people, that the pastor doesn't want to be called pastor. They're about the network. They're about the original template and plan of what the church used to be during times of slavery, where it wasn't about prosperity preaching in this order where I'm going to sex with many of the sisters I can, and you got to give me your money, and it's a big hustle. There are some remaining out here. Of course, they will be in the minority, but there are people out here who don't think that way.
Exactly.
Just like with me that one of the sisters from the church or one of her friends who happened to be Caucasian called you up and let you know how she's doing, and she also had her and referred to you as mom. Now it's not learning that we want to be up with white people and they call you. It's not about that. There are some people who are not tainted with that. There's some people who know the deal about what's going on in the outside world. And I am not changing. I know how the system is. I know how most of these people will take the benefits of the system and not want to say anything about what it does to us. I understand that, and I will never change on that.
Right.
But I will say that there are some out here that are Caucasian who are not walking with that aggressively, that nigger over there, and I can't, that nigger over there. No, they're not on that wavelength.
Right.
So you can't say, oh, he's bending and changing. I'm not going to rah hating anybody, but I know how the system works, and I hate the system, and I hate the people that operate within it, that keep their foot in our neck. But not everybody's like that. Now, a lot of people are not going to stand up for us. And there are some and those people who wear the dark glasses and the signs of the Black Lives Matter, because that whole thing is a farce. I'm not losing my fire, but I have to call it like it is because of my experiences.
Right.
And I'm going to say this without nobody asking me anything. My recent experiences here in Accra with those who are supposed to be close to you that turn around out of envy and try to destroy you. And do things to you that no person in the church that you're describing would do to me. That try and show their ass.
Yep.
And leave their wife and pick up a little piece of hole.
No. Yeah, these people are solid people.
That many have admired on this channel, and you don't see them no more, but they do things that are diametrically opposed to the fake ass image that they put out there.
Exactly.
If y'all can't read the lines, I can't say because I ain't. This is not
don't say it. Exactly.
I say what I say because there are some white people who would not do that to their inner circle.
Exactly.
Them being a narcissist and fooled the world and used me on a platform to put out an image that is not real at all, that I did not know.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear nobody come and tell me, oh, you're softening up and this and that. No, because the hell I've been through as far as realizing what was around me in the last 6 months, I'd rather a white person who is loyal, who ain't fronting, who may not know the dynamics of what goes on with black people, but has a loving heart. Because the most hateful treatment that I have received in my adult life, and the abandonment and the lies and Mrs. Scurv being hurt and betrayed, come from people in the inner circle who look like me, who talk to this day about how you should treat your sisters and how you should the community and this and that, all because you want to get more of a harem of pussy under your wing because you know people admire you. So don't tell me.
Oh yes, indeed. I listen. Yes.
Talk about church and look who came to her aid.
Yes, because at the end of the day, that's what I had. I mean, when Sunday night, when I couldn't hear from her, listen, let me tell you something. This is me as mommy, folks. I don't know who else is like this. I send her a text. I give her 5 minutes to respond back to me. I send her another text. I don't hear anything. There's a phone call coming. Okay, there's a phone call coming because you're going to answer something. And Sunday I said, hey, that's my favorite thing to say. And I said, hey, and nothing happened. I said, are you okay? Nothing happened. I called her before she would have even had an opportunity to respond. I'm okay. I was on the phone calling her. No answer. Call back again. No answer. My heart, like, I don't even know where my heart went after that, because she lives alone. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh my God. So I have a couple of people in my phone, that are around her, but I know one person, that same one person in particular, if I call her, she's going to get on it quick, fast, and I called her and she didn't answer the phone and say, hey, Mrs. Whatever. She answered the phone. Hey, mama. Okay. That's it. Hey, mama. And I said to her, have you heard from her? And she said she spoke to her in a group chat earlier in the morning, but she's going to get on it right now and find out what's going on. Okay. She got on it, called me back. She said, yeah, I just spoke to her. My daughter called me, like while I was talking to her, she was calling me. And she said, what the reason why she couldn't answer the phone right away. But that's what I'm saying. If people are there for you, you cannot throw them away. You can't lump them in the pool of the bad. It's just like some of our people. It's just like that young lady with Exodus House. She had an issue with several of our kind of people that look like us, right? She can't lump everybody that come from this faction or from this this group of people. You had a problem with one set, and I know we have a problem with the majority of this set. Okay, but there's always
I see here, but you can't lump them all.
Right, you can't lump everybody together. And I have somebody in my life. We're not everyday talkers, but she's in a significant role in my life because of my children, right? My two younger children. Okay. And if I call her right now and say, hey, I need thus and such, whether I talk to her every day, once a year, once every 3 years, what do you need? What do you need?
Right.
Okay. So, and I know there are people in this chat that vibe with us, that understands our positions and the things that we speak, who have those same experiences. As you always say, we're not monolithic and we don't live in a box. I may joke around and say that we live in a box, or I live in a box, or whatever, but we don't live in a box. Okay. And we have to interact with people. We have neighbors that we have to interact with. You test the mettle of the people you come in contact with. And you will test it, and over time you will know if you're dealing with steel, if you're dealing with mercury. You'll know, I know it's a liquid. So, but you know what I'm saying. You'll know if you're dealing with steel.
Yeah.
You'll know if you're dealing with foil paper. You'll know if you're dealing with platinum. You will know what you're dealing with. You'll know if you're dealing with soft gold or gold that has been mixed with other metals to strengthen it. You will know what you're dealing with. You understand?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I just wanted to add in that and I'm not saying that this is White People Appreciation Day, but we have
not,
to
because it's just something I had to say. Yes.
We're taking the energies we have now and using it in a positive way for us as a people. And it will always be that way. So don't think that we've turned and changed and somebody got to him. Maybe they slipped him some money. No. But I have to give credit where credit is due.
And nobody got to me either, folks. I just needed to say that because, you know.
And I told you I was going to say that too on today's show. You did. On the topic, you know.
You did.
But go ahead.
No, I'm finished. I'm good. Continue.
Okay. Back in September of 1968.
Right.
When my mother and father purchased the home that I grew up in, and I was 5.5 years old, my father always wanted to purchase a home. And it wasn't like always for years, but with the growing way that Manhattan and Harlem and the heroin and the drugs and, you know, I had a wonderful upbringing. And to me, it was rosy, even with the template of that or the backdrop of that being there. I had a strong father and a strong mother, and they protected me from that. But they knew I was going to go eventually into my teen years, and how they knew peer pressure was very strong. So they had been saving money for the down payment, which probably was something really small sounding because that was so long ago.
Probably was all of $2,000 they had to put down.
$2,000 is probably like $80,000 or something right now, right?
Exactly.
You know, so the thing is that, you know, he had different clients that he was close to.
Right.
He was a proud man, and he would never go and ask anybody anything. So in the conversation with one of the clients, which I consider like family, looking back, the relationship that my father and mother had with this particular client, and I say mother because she knew them very well, and there were things that we all did together, and there were things that they invited us to. Sometimes we could make it, sometimes we couldn't. So I'm going to give credit to this white family for what they did and how they are. They both are deceased right now. And I lost contact with the children, which they're up in age too. And I got back into contact with the daughter, but she's a well-known photographer now. And I'm saying all this for a reason. And we talked briefly, but you know, it's one of those things, I'll get back to you, you never do. And I'm going to find her again. If I find her, I'm going to bring her back on the show. I'm a little older than her, and I could tell her memories from my side that she would love to hear. So why am I talking about these white people? Well, I remember sitting around the table because when my father would go to their landmark property to preserve their floors and keep it a certain way, because if you don't know, well, at least in New York City, when a property is deemed to be a landmark property, there's certain things that you cannot do to it, even though you bought that house. There's certain things you can do to it, and there's certain things that you have to do to it. If the law in the state or the city or whatever, or whoever's over that, I don't know exactly what it is, but there's that council that will say these floors have to be this color. They must remain weathered as they are because they may not be perfectly close together between the planks. It may be, you got to keep it that way. If you want to put a row over it, you can. So, and it can only be stained in these colors, the original colors, if you do sand it down every 10 years. You can't do it every 2 years. Specifications. My father was excellent with that, and he had many. He wasn't just a floor scraper. He was a person who was more like, that was his craft. And he was approved by the powers that be, one of many, but not too many, who were approved to go and do these kind of jobs. So therefore, we're affluent. And this couple, the husband, the father, he was a world-renowned architect, a different one than the one that I worked for that disappointed me. This man's name, and I'll put it out there out of respect, was named John Stonehill. Ooh. And we went to their home to do the work. I say we, I was a little boy at that time, right? But my father always made me feel like, yes, I'm part of this company also. And yes, we're going to do this over here. And he had me doing those things. But after, it wasn't like, nigga, get out.
Right.
After they would prepare, or they would begin to prepare, because it was maybe like 5 floors in this landmark property down in Greenwich Village on Charles Street.
Right.
And when I go back, I always walk past there. They are not there anymore. It's still a landmark property, but I have memories in this place.
Right.
And there was people there, and I will say, going off the topic a little more, that was so kind when I rang the bell to see who was there years ago. I said, well, maybe the daughter or the son inherited this, but no, they had sold and moved on. And I explained the whole story of my connection to their property. And they said, sir, come on inside if you want to look around. Go on in the back and look around. They weren't looking at me like, this nigga's going to steal something, because I wasn't expecting, or I didn't come there to come inside. I just explained it, and they thought it was very, very charming that I would do so. So we would sit at the table and we would eat. And they'd make some great Italian dishes. And they put what? We would sit around. And I remember this one particular afternoon, which was after my father purchased the home. But I remember it was in 1973, and Muhammad Ali was fighting Ken Norton. And this was on a Saturday. I'm not sure if it was the first fight or the second fight, but it was definitely 1973. My memory never fails me like that. I got to check color of the robes that they wore to know which one it was, because they switched the colors, right? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. John Stonehill, the father, and Judith Stonehill, the mother, they were sitting there with us. Of course, they had dished everything out, and we were sitting around telling old war stories, and my father telling some stories, and John Stonehill telling other stories. And he said to my father, after they spoke about how things were getting up in Washington Heights where we lived, you know, he said, listen, and this is what, you know, I was there. I was a little boy.
Right,
said, do you ever consider moving away from that environment? Because although we know that you are great parents, the things that are out there and around there may not be so kind to your son. Because remember, you got to understand that they knew that my brother, whose son was a half brother, but I don't look at it that way. He come to drugs at that point early on. Right. Not as heavy as he was to get into it. Let me take a sip of this water.
Okay.
Not as heavy as he
eventually got into it.
So my father said, yes, I've been saving for that. And so he said, listen, after we have our meal, I want me and you in private to have a discussion. I'll never forget that.
Oh, wow.
And when my father came out, it wasn't like he was leaping at the ceiling. He was always a cool character. But as we got home, I overheard my father saying how John Stonehill had given him several $1,000s, not just like 2 or 3. But it was a whole more than what was going to be on the down payment. And he told John Stonehill, listen, I'm almost there with the down payment. But it's like he gave him a double down payment. He said, I don't you do with that what you need to do, but I'm doing this for you because you are a good man. I love you. I love your character. I love your family. And it's my duty as a father, as you're a father, because you are in my path and in my life. We know that we do business together. Over the years, I've come to love you like a brother, and you are my brother, and I want this for you.
And that's something.
And my father's one to not take. Like, okay, give me that. And I think there was a little resistance. And he got mad. John Stonehill said, no, don't you understand the kind of relationship we have? You must take this.
He impressed upon him in the Italian way. I insist that you take it.
Right. So, so that was August of 1968. And things moved fast. Because in September, we were moving in our house on 134th Street, 10535, 134th Street in Queens, New York, between 105th and 107th Avenue. And I had my new neighborhood.
And that's
it
something.
was glorious from then. And I will say that when my father passed away in 1990, remember, that was 1968. My father had Alzheimer's and he had a bad dose of sugar diabetes, and the mental aspects of dealing with the Alzheimer was quite tough for me and my mother. But he eventually passed away in November of 1990.
Right.
And guess who was there at the service? The first one, John Stonehill and Judith Stonehill.
Wow.
And they sat in the back, not because they wanted not to sit in the front. They just sat there and they hugged me after the service. These two white people, and they hugged me. And John Stonehill cried so hard in my arms. A white man, damn it. Yet and still I can come out here and there are people who will say, I am this to you and I am that to you. And you treat my sister so nice, and you can be the biggest fraud on the internet. And try to bring me down, not even slander, but do things and say things to people that are so destructive and say lies.
Yep. And they look so like you.
And you don't give a damn. You showed your ass. You see where I'm coming from? Even before when being around this particular individual, I would have rolled with, white people this way. Yes, and I still know that they are, for the most part, the higher percentages, no good. And don't give a damn about us, but they can't erase what I know to be the truth. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
And when I was at the podium, when I was up in the front speaking about the life of my father, and my mother was there, couldn't believe the words that was coming out my mouth. I was always slick with the words, but I don't know where it came from the heart. And I looked in the back, and that man was beat red, man. He loved my father. His wife loved my father. Their family loved us.
Exactly.
So I can't reject what I know to be the truth of my life in the contrast from one who should be and profess to be this great man who is a fraud. Yet and still there's one who had white skin who may be one in a million, but I can't forget him and make good up to them for what they did for me in my life and the relationship they had with my parents and me. And those were the ones that got me the subscription to National Geographic for the rest of my life until they died. I was a grown man still receiving the subscription. They kept paying for it.
Wow, what?
I mean, it wasn't $1 million, but they did not forget.
It's just a gesture. I mean, right.
And see, I didn't know when they passed. We didn't have it where we were talking every day or even every year sometime. I would go down to the village, knock the door, and come on in, Lance. They might be just waking up or getting ready to go out. They never closed the door and said, okay, you can come in now. See, I watch those little things. If they open the door, he might have said, Judith, get decent. Lance is here, because she might be titties out. I don't want to walk in on that. That's their home.
Exactly.
But they like I was some danger or whatever.
Exactly.
So we have to understand that you can have these connections, but these connections are far and few between these days. And in actuality, these connections are far and few in between with how we treat each other. Because each other, we're not connected. We don't have that thing that we used to have. When we look back and we see the Harlem Globetrotters, you know, do 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 do, and you have football behind his back, knowing the exact positioning of one of the other players, and he doesn't even have to look because they're so synchronized.
Right.
You can hear some rain in the background. It's coming down pretty hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We now used to have that back in the days of slavery, coming out of slavery, coming up through the civil rights movement. We had a way of communicating that was nonverbal, but we were looking at each other's eyes in the presence of the racist white folks and knew how to move. We can warn each other with a glance. We can warn each other not to go in a certain store or a certain place because there was going to be hell or even death waiting for us. We were synchronized. As much as we should have been crazy, we weren't.
Yeah.
It made diamond out of carbon, the pressure that was put on us, and we came out stronger. So what in the hell happened to us today? What happened to us today that we lost that thing? And some of us still have it. I know I have it. And sometimes I'll glance at somebody and they look at me like I'm crazy and I'm trying to tell them something in a nonverbal way, but they're disconnected. What happened to have us disconnected like this?
They put something in the food.
We didn't have the mental health issues that we have now. Back in the days of being enslaved, the only day that we felt a little more relieved was on a Sunday when we did go to church, but we still had the slave master in there looking over
watching us and making sure you can't read more than what they want you to read.
Yes. And pray to the God that we gave them. And they can shut God. We got them in check because this religion is all up in their backside and all up in their mind. That's what it was all about. But you know what? Even with the specter and threat of death over our heads, you didn't see too many of us going crazy.
Exactly.
Because we had each other.
Yes.
We had each other. If you had food and I was hungry, I would eat. If you couldn't lay your head down where you were, you know that you can snuggle up next to me in a non-sexual way in the bed.
Yeah.
All we had was us, and we realized that. But what happened to us? What happened to that?
Greed, wanting to follow the crowd, wanting to be like, the slave masters.
Thank you, William.
That's what happened. That's what happened to us. Yes. Yeah.
So now that thing that couldn't be raped out of us, that thing that couldn't be beat out of us, we couldn't have any kind of fear on us that would make that thing go away. How do we break these people? They tried many ways before, but they're doing it now, and it's in the form of what they call social media. And now we got more mental health issues. Now we see each other as the enemy. Now we don't have that psychic connection because our mentality and our mindset has been blurred by the trinkets, baubles, and rubies that some of us will never get. And I'm not speaking negativity into your life, but you threw down what we had so strong as a people to reach for the in cyberspace that don't even damn exist.
Now you can get to the topic.
Look on Facebook and all of these ads, and Instagram with all of these ads, and YouTube with all of these projections that we have to pick through to get something good. Like that kid in the hood who their apartment had bad roaches. And when they went in the morning time to eat their Raisin Bran, they had to differentiate between the raisins and the roaches. And pick the roaches out the cereal box. So those of us who get something out of YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, every day we're picking roaches out the cereal box because we don't want to eat what's bad. We want to consume what's good. And we immediately know, those who are in the chat room right now, we immediately know what's bad because our filters are strong. But many of us don't have strong filters.
Right.
What's coming up now when we as older people, me being 58 and some others younger and older, but over 50, we don't understand what's happening behind us.
Right.
We don't understand that the younger generations, which, as I've used this example before, take a person who is 30 years old now, young black woman, young black man. Now, if I was 15, I say, oh, they're old. But now that I'm older, I say they're younger.
Right.
As we know, as we live on this level, we get a different appreciation of time because the older we get, the more we realize how fast it can go. That's why I always call it the artificial construct.
Yes.
Because again, I only use this thing called a clock for meetings and to meet with you or anyone else at a certain time. But after that, I live with no time and I live with no clock. So people say, well, you look young for your age. because I'm not counting down. I'll say the chronological age to spit in the face of Father Time, and eventually he'll get me, but I'm not being ruled by the clock jumping around like when I was in Orlando, Florida, or New York City. Oh, I got to do this. Where I am. That's why we get shows like this that are not scripted. You know,
exactly.
What's going to be? This is your show, but we start with something and we let the spirit take over.
Exactly.
I was upgrading what I thought. I said, let me go on ahead and make this thing. And I know you saw when the email came in, like, Lance is still up at this time.
I have to confess, Brother Lance, I was in somebody else's land when you sent those.
When I didn't get any response, I was like, okay, I know you're knocked out.
I was knocked out.
And you were knocked out.
I was knocked out.
With no sleep. And I stayed up to about 7:30 this morning.
Oh my God.
For me, which I'm 4 hours ahead, everyone.
Right.
Right. But what I'm saying is that you take that person who's 30 years old, right? And if you count back, let's just play with numbers, right? They were born in 1991.
That's my daughter.
When they were, ain't that something? And
that's something.
Wow. And my daughter that I was speaking to the other night was born in 95, right? So now you take that one that was born in 91 who is going to be 30 or 30, and we'll just say they're 30, and you move it up 10 years. They're 10 years old. Now it's 2001. 9/11 happened. It must blow their mind because at 10 years old, you have enough sense to kind of understand what's going on. And if you don't, you see the adults around you and how they're reacting. You know, this is something big, but it's not a 911 thing, because right after, we always had the internet on some level in the 90s in the form of forums or a site like Black Planet. It just didn't become a part of our lives like it did now. But now you get MySpace.
Right.
Around 2004 or so. So that one who was born in 1991, they're 13 years old. They're adult life for the most part. They knew nothing else but, and I know people love to call me when it's time for oh wow.
When you're doing
answer this call. I gotta answer this call. I'm gonna do it live too.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to say that you're I'm live right now, so we can hear you, and I'm going to call you back. But I want you to talk because you're on celebrity status on this platform. Can you hear me? They didn't say anything. Well, I'm going to call you back after the show. Let me see if that'll work. No, they're not saying anything. Or maybe they booty dialed me. That was Danilo.
Maybe. So really? Okay. Talk
about energy, right? I would have loved for them to come on in. If you can hear me, if you're listening, if you want me to drop the link, let me know, Danita. Just say something or call me again and hang up or just whatever, and I'll drop the link. But anyway, all I'm trying to say is that those of us who grew up writing and communicating with pen, pencil, and paper, for those of us who grew up watching a movie at home on TV and the only time that you had to pee was during the commercial. Replay it. We had to be there to watch it or you'll miss it. You know how you get in the place late, you come home late and 15, 20 minutes late and what happened so far?
Exactly.
So we have to, we had to do certain things on a mental level, but now this social media is so tasty to our children and also for the adults. And we'll talk about that. But the mental health on how we're set up by this engineered thing that was designed to get into our minds that is so sweet. It's sweet. It is a sweetness to it. I used to get up sometime in the day and on the weekend sometime, and this is when I was 14, 15 years old, 13 years old, I'd get up at 11 o'clock at night. And it was safer in New York. Maybe a buddy or two would come with me and we'd ride the trains from Queens into Manhattan to go to a newsstand right there on 7th Avenue and 42nd Street. An old Indian man used to save the boxing magazines and the bodybuilding magazines for me if he didn't see me. So if he sold all of them out, he kept one issue of each, and he would come out with this pile as soon as he sees me crossing the street. Hello, my friend, I have magazine for you. And he'd even give me a discount or say, try this magazine out and see how you like it. And I would add that to my rotation the next time, and I'd try to pay him. No, my friend, you always, And so I had to do that to get boxing and bodybuilding news that was 3 months old. So for me to be able to see it up to date, like recently, there was supposed to be a fight on the 21st of August, Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. Now that's one fight I was really looking forward to watching. But they found Errol Spence had a torn retina, and he couldn't move forward. And it came from the bad accident that was almost fatal that he had last year that he beautifully recuperated from. Wow. But that was from there. So now the fight is off, but Manny Pacquiao is still going to fight another opponent. But how was I going to find that out unless I got it on the news? And if it wasn't big, never know it. Maybe the newspaper in a little column in the back. So for that and information purposes, it's wonderful. But there's another side to this thing. There's a wicked underbelly to this thing, and the children who are growing up in it, who don't know a world without social media. See, we know a world without social media, so our mental health will be a little more intact. It's not going to attack us and influence us in that same way. So they can communicate, they can do a partial communication, because it's not full looking in your eyes. I don't care how much you're doing damn FaceTime. There's nothing like taking a young lady on a date and sitting across the table from her and talking to her.
Exactly.
Be the fraud when you look in somebody eye to eye in an intimate setting over time. But you can lie to her. You can post up the pictures that look good on you and use a program to remove a pimple or something on you that you don't like and make yourself look good. So we can put up a projection of what we want. The person falls in love with that projection, just like the show last night that we did. Projections, gender projections.
That was an amazing show.
Fish for the kind of person that we really want, but we become what we think they want.
Yes.
Morph into that to rope them in on a fraudulent image that we put out there. And so guess what? This is what we're doing as norm on social media. I'm not saying anybody here, but for the most part, we're projecting this image that's not really us.
Exactly.
I don't think relationships are going to work out if I fall in love with the image, which I shouldn't, but we're carnal now. We flip through. Oh, look at her butt. Oh, man. Oh, look at them lips. Oh, look, she got money. And the same thing goes for the women who are impressionable on that level. I'm not just saying that we're all lower vibrational, carnal maggots and gold diggers, but whatever we were supposed to be, this thing has reduced us as a people and had an effect on our mental health. Because things are operating now on a negative level. We don't tolerate as much as we used to tolerate thinking the long haul. Old Jet magazines, and you got people in there 100 years old or almost 100 years old talking about they've been married for 80 years.
Can you imagine? You can't see that anymore. My God. Social media and just the world in and of itself, all of a sudden they allow you to find fault with everything that individual has, And listen, Brother Lance.
Yes.
Brother Lance, you said a mouthful, but that show last night, that revealed a lot. That revealed a lot. Yes, because
myself, I never knew. I was like, man, I got to go check myself over.
Please. Listen, but here's
let me just interject, Denise X. That falls under social media because social media is an accelerant to the reality TV with paid. And I know how paper thin that could be because I did security on the People's Court TV show, which wasn't a reality show, but I saw how they projected and engineered certain things to look a certain way to get more ratings and get a higher thing. So that falls under the umbrella of it. But those who are getting paid, even those agents and informants and people who are online and social media influencers, this is life imitating art, and it's not good art. So the money aspect, yes, they influence a lot. But social media, it all comes through because nobody just goes to the TV and just sits in front of the TV. These episodes are on social media. They're on the phone. It's this modern day way of reaching your mind because you would not have had anything like that back in the 70s. What I remember is good times. What I remember is the Jeffersons, even Archie Bunker, white selves or whatever. It wasn't this thing that is so spicy and seasoned and guaranteed, to attract us when we're thinking on a lower level. Those few get money. And those who get money from social media are not us in general. Forget those who are YouTube influencers who make a couple pennies. Even those who, I know of a person who has a boxing page, and personally, I know he makes about $15,000 a month. And here I am, only paid maybe a cell phone bill or two with what I get because I do get, but I put it back into.
Can you pay your cell phone?
Well, look, I don't have a bill anymore because I have the app that I pay $143 a year, and when you call me directly on my phone, it redirects the call to my phone. So even then, I don't have a bill. I got a phone that wasn't working too good. I didn't like the service and the way they do stuff. I got rid of it. So I said, if you want to reach me, you're going to have to call me directly. For the United States, in another country, you're going to call me through WhatsApp. One phone, one number. If you can't do that, email me. You understand? So what I'm saying is that, yes, there is the monetary thing about it. You see, so the bottom line is that the influencers that are engineered, but look who's following through. See, they're paid to act a fool. But what about the neighborhoods and the hoods across America and the world where we follow through and act this way because we're influenced and our mental health is impacted?
Right.
Or a small percentage, 1% of 1% of the 1%. But look at the effect that they have. If we were all in a cookout out in the woods and I ran through the cookout, oh my God, there's a snake, a python, and you don't have to see that snake. Get out of here, he's coming. You're not gonna look and say, well, I need to see it first. Just like yesterday, Daniel went up there looking for the property near where we have our property and saw a king cobra. Brace up. Yes.
What?
Here in Accra. And so, well, it was in the mountainous region, not really in Accra per se, right? But close. But it was up in the mountains. And so
my God.
I found out that the king cobra is one thing.
God.
There's a lot of black mambas that are out here floating around too. So as much as you see the beautiful nature and the fruits and the mangoes, watch your back. Don't go out there at nighttime now. When you're way deep in the country, and you can go even deeper. I said this last night in the show, I'm going to say it again. The black mamba, when he bites you, they have a 100% fatality rate. Mr. Scurv, listen. You
One and done.
Doing your work, preparing things, landscaping every day. Don't drop your guard. And when things are completed, ain't nobody going out there at nighttime, even though we'll have a high wall and lights and ribbon and all this stuff.
They climb walls, right? You're gonna have to have spikes or something on the top of the wall deterrent.
I'm gonna find out what it is that required to keep that down and make them want to. But this is what you can't take the beauty in the non-GMO fruits, then that's part of the game unless you want to live in the city.
Right.
With that, that's like going to Orlando, Florida on a visit. People say, "Did you see alligators running around the street?" You ain't never going to see that. You may see it occasionally around certain lakes that have them, because everybody in Florida, unless they took the time to clean it out, whatever has them. So don't be. I've driven past little lakes and bigger lakes, and go, oh my God, look at those 10 alligators over there chilling, getting some sun.
Oh yeah.
On Turkey Lake Road and Sand Lake Road, right where the Whole Foods is, populated like crazy, tourist area. On the 21 bus route that I used to drive, and on the outbound, as soon as you cross over Sand Lake Road on Turkey Lake Road, heading to that Walmart and the stops beyond it where the hospital was, you look to the right, and every day around noon or 1 o'clock, there was an alligator right there, but it was fenced off. And it was the bigger part of the other connected lakes. And you would find right there, I mean, close.
Listen, you remember
nothing like that.
Back in the day, going south down, going towards Tampa, not Tampa, oh my God, Fort Myers, on 75, they had that little strip called Alligator Alley.
Oh man.
Listen,
I passed through there at night with somebody, and they were driving. I didn't see anything. I mean, because it was
well, you
night.
know what? They've kind of banked it off a little bit now, just to make it a little safer. But like back in the day, and even in the 90s and stuff like that, you don't want to break down.
You better make sure yourself, right?
Make sure you have a full tank of gas and your car is in good shape.
Wow.
That's all. Because that's it. Alligator Alley, 2 roads, one going east, one going west. That's it. Don't break down.
That's amazing. So now, how we deal with each other, and that 30-year-old adult person now, who's a young adult, still in my book, how they deal with the opposite sex, how they deal with how they feel about each other, how they deal with their own brothers if they're a male, or the brothers if they're a sister. How we deal has changed a long time ago. And the old ways of doing things are just not, I'm not going to say not acceptable, but they're forgotten and banished and overrun by this new thing. And again, like Denise X, you're right. The discernment has to be there. But
right.
Under the culture, I say social media, but that was a sort of shorthand to cover the whole culture right now. The title would have been too long if I tried to include every facet. So when I say social media, I mean this mentality that goes through social media, but goes now out into the world. And this is how we deal with each other. And so now with our mental health, we know we always had the nosy lady in the neighborhood whose Venetian blinds were always broken because they were always lifting it up to peek at you. And I call people like that Venetian blind players, because they never change, keep new blinds. They keep the old ones. So now it's convenient. It's broke right there. I just got to put my eye right there and I can see what's going on with the family that I can't stand across
the street. Exactly.
They don't make enough money to buy a car like that. Oh, who is that man coming over to the house when the husband is gone working at night? See, they spread this vile gossip, not knowing that man might be that wife's brother.
True.
And he's coming over there because he has a long drive to get back home. And he comes on Friday when he gets off of work. So he takes a nap because he's tired, and he stays there, and he might leave before the husband comes home. So how does it look? But what really is, what I'm saying is that we always look, I'm not saying anybody here again, but as Black people overall, we really looking for some dirt right now.
Yes.
We're really looking for the lowest possible vibration. We really are looking for the decadent thing. And we think the decadent thing first before anything else, before we uplift our brother or sister or see them make a mistake. And as opposed to going and taking a camera or secretly recording them and putting them out there, we used to go to that sister or brother and say, hey, listen, I wanted to talk to you in private because I don't want to blow you up in public. But I want to tell you, I don't know everything, but what you did was wrong. And I want to say this, I'm talking to you out of love. And I want to suggest to you that this is the way you handle this situation in the future. I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to be your daddy. I'm not trying to boss you around, but please, for the sake of us and to avoid a bad situation down the line, please look at it this way and make sure they understand that. We don't have to love anymore. Our mental health is turned to, we are looking at each other as the enemy. We are not in the proper state of mind. We're being taken for the kill. We're being disconnected. Like when you break down a Christmas tree and you take the lights. See, it's easy to put that Christmas tree up, but I'm not condoning Christmas trees, but I know a lot of
we understand,
before we woke up. You got to plug those wires. You got little decorations that were hanging off. And usually the tree came, if it wasn't a real tree, it came in two parts. So you had to go in the middle and turn that part and take the top part off from the bottom. And you know, the little angel was always on top. Maybe you had a black angel, make no difference. And so we had to take the part of the sheet that we put under to emulate snow, that when we put the presents on top, there's all this glittery stuff and stuff. So we had to know. We don't realize how, and there's always one of the lights that didn't work the next year, or your favorite decoration that fell and broke, and now you're mad. I know all about that. You know what I mean? We couldn't get away from that in that generation. We didn't know. But now it's a different time.
Or you break somebody else's and you hide it.
I know, right? Oh, dang. No. And this has nothing to do with
I'm laughing too hard here.
I know, right? To me. Yo. And I'm saying it this in the street way. Yo, what about the photo album, right? The family photo album, right? And in the beginning of the photo album, say it had, I can't say 100 different pages. Let's just say it had like 50 or 30, whatever, like say 50. And hard little cardboard pages that you lift up the plastic and put the photo between that particular cardboard, it was heavy paper page, and put it down. And for the first, if it was 50, for the first 35, they were organized. Or for the first 5, they were organized. And back toward the end of the album, there were pictures that you just shoved in the back.
Yeah.
How come there was always that newborn baby's picture that was in the daggone photo album, and nobody knows who the baby is and where it came from? The baby always looked, it was a black baby. Maybe
I have one.
Right. And they do. And their eyes are squinted and their eyes are puffy, and their hands are like almost like they're pointing back at themselves, but it's the hands that hold the fingers over the thumb, and the hair looks back, full head of hair.
Chinese hair.
3 weeks old. Who is that?
No, that's not 3 weeks. That's brand new. When you see those kind of pictures, those are brand new babies.
Like there's somebody running around with a stack of photos of babies. Like, I'm gonna stick this picture inside your album. You'll never know who it is.
Oh God!
And to this day, you
don't know whose baby.
You keep the photo because one day you want to know who it is, but you never find out.
Exactly.
And, you know, transitioning and stuff, and you got that picture, baby, and you're like, I don't know who the hell this kid is.
I don't know who this is, boy, but they up in here.
See, those are things that people now won't understand. But what I'm saying is that we don't have those moments. We're disconnected like that Christmas tree. We don't even have a photo album that we sit around and look at. We look at our phones. So as far as our mental health is concerned, we don't have the mentality to look out for each other, which we did have coons and haters and sellouts in the enslaved days. And I'm not glorifying, we need to go back to that so that we could be, no, I would never suggest that. But all I'm saying is that we knew that our lives depended on each other for the most part.
Exactly.
And we had each other, and we had to have each other's back. But because we are seduced into this present culture, we've been seduced. Right. And I see you coming back on in.
No. I'm here. This is my computer. You don't have to touch it. That's
okay. Cool. Yeah. But we've been seduced to pulling away from each other and giving up that thing that we had that the Harlem Globetrotters have on the court. that connectedness that we may have never seen each other in this life. But when we take that silent glance, there's so much information conveyed and downloaded that we know exactly what we're trying to say. And there's always the white person that even if you suck your teeth a little bit or moan, what did she mean by that? Because that frequency with us, because we had to live in a way where that thing and that frequency, they're very life dependent on. So we're disconnected, fattened up with something that doesn't mean anything to us.
Right.
We're fattened up for the kill because there is no unity. It comes in pockets.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We've been engineered and methodically disconnected. And so our state of mind is all twisted up where instead of loving the fact that our sister or brother is making progress in their life or realizing their dreams and realizing their visions, we hate them for that, or we dislike them for that, or there's a feeling where we're not happy for them anymore.
Right. That's true.
Kind of thing happened to our mental health to make us that way. And it's the present culture. I said social media, but I mean the present culture, which
exactly
is the
it's part of it. Because guess what? And social media, to me, is more responsible for a lot of mental health issues that people are having nowadays. You know, because when you can be bullied, but listen, when without social media, you may have people in your neighborhood that might be a bully, or and a few people could bully you or whatever, and you just have to figure out a way to beat their ass, get a couple of your friends, beat some asses, and they'll leave you alone for the most part, right?
Yes.
Now, with social media, one person has a little beef with you and they start putting, derogatory, negative stuff out there, and all of a sudden it catches on fire. Now you have Facebook, spreading stuff. You have Instagram, you have WhatsApp, you have Snapchat. What else do you have? There's so many more platforms out there that can get stuff out into the world. And all of a sudden, one lie, one situation takes off like wildfire.
Exactly.
Wildfire. You know what I'm saying? How do you now? Yeah, you could say, okay, I'm going to take myself off of social media and I'm going to disassociate from it. But now what happens? It's not just a few people in your neighborhood that is going to be looking at you funny because your picture is out there. It's every damn where you walk. Everywhere you walk now, somebody could be pointing a finger at you. Somebody, oh, that's the person. Oh, isn't that the person that we saw and so and so and so? How do you deal with that mentally? How do you deal with that? And this is where you're hearing young kids, committing suicide. And we might say, well, why would they do that? Well, I think until it happens to you, you can't say how would they do that? Because they can't deal with all these eyes and energy that's on them. Social media is responsible for that.
Yes. They didn't anticipate that. And let me just answer Brother William Wallace. That's happening to everyone in modern society, not just Black folks. Yes, that is absolutely 100% true. But when my children are hungry at home, which I've never had to go through that, but I'm using this as an example, I don't take the money I have to go to the market to feed my kids and bring back food to say, well, it's happening to white kids and Latino kids and Asian kids. And by the time I come home, I spent my money on everybody else except my own. And I'm saying that to say this, my concern, as in the title, when you see the title, I said the Black community.
Right.
Because you see, while things are happening to other people, maybe that was an attempt to minimize what happens to us. But the condition of us cannot be minimized, and we're going to feel it more than anybody else because in society, how we're treated, how we have the systemic racism in the system, and how we've been turned against each other, it's at record levels right now, which others don't have to deal with, and others don't give a damn about us.
That's true.
Others don't give a damn about us. Who is the one who is going to deal with us? I look around, it's going to be us. So we're not here to save the world. And maybe ultimately that might be our mission.
Right.
But we can't save our damn selves. We ain't saving no world. Because ain't nobody coming to rescue us.
That's
you mean to tell me that the little bit of wealth that we had when we came out of slavery, I forgot what it was. Was it 1% of the total? Whatever little scrapings we had? And in 2021, those numbers, whatever they are,
they can't go up much more than that.
It's the same. But everybody else comes to America, gets successful, and moves on. You lazy niggers, you should pull yourself up by the bootstrap. It ain't that easy when you have a situation like Black Wall Street, Tulsa.
Right. Exactly.
Banks that we feed into but won't give us loans back. But we supported them.
North Carolina. Exactly.
Free labor. You give a business free labor and free rent or free access to land for hundreds of years where you don't have to pay. That damn business better be successful.
That's right.
So now we're so far behind, not speaking it as a victim, but making a true assessment of our condition. And since we do that, all of a sudden now we're supposed to turn around and go and say, well, that's almost an attempt to minimize the facts, because you see that rapist who didn't want to be caught, he raped and killed the young lady. And she tried to defend herself, and he did what he wanted to do with her and killed her. He didn't anticipate that the detectives would look up under her fingernails and get his
see
DNA.
That. Exactly.
Being defensive. Now we look on social media also, and on the good side, the truth is coming out. And the things that I'm not saying you personally, I don't know who you are. You say, William, you might be a woman, you might be white, you might be black. But those in charge of speaking their history to us, they didn't anticipate this medium that would share so much of what we didn't know. I learned more about our history in cyberspace than I ever did about school, in school, because school taught us lies. There's a video, a short video of a woman who had an African accent. I can't tell what country she was from, but she was definitely from Africa. And she basically said so cool and with a smile on her face, and maybe others saw it, how we didn't exist until the white man came. And he told our history from his eyes. And he said it in a way to make him look good. So all that we have is from this conqueror who didn't treat us too good. And whatever way he treated us, he minimized it.
Exactly.
And made it seem like we are the savages who needed his civilization techniques and way of living when
to
he
survive.
So many of us brainwashed from the jump. So while I will also say that social media today and the toxic effects on the mental health of the Black community, what about being in school in a Caucasian system and the toxic effects on the mental health of the Black community coming up with that? George Washington was honest and would never tell a lie, but he had slaves. Slaves.
Right. Exactly.
Some mixed children, Black, but mixed in with him that they never wanted to acknowledge. Thomas Jefferson, the same thing. But they taught us the history about Ben Franklin and how brilliant he was in flying the kite with the key and electricity and all of that. But I come out here in Ghana, in Accra, and on the outskirts of Accra, there's a place here called Jamestown.
Can you imagine?
Let me tell you where I've been, and I'm probably going to go there within the next 2 weeks and videotape with a brother another little documentary and let him talk it. Benjamin Franklin was here in Ghana.
Can you imagine?
And if you see the fact that he named, I don't know how he got the power to come here, some white man, and name the area Jamestown. I personally went, and I'm going back to show you that this is no lie. I'm going to go there with my cameras and go there and show you that right by there's a boxing gym close by. So imagine you have a small little strip mall, but a real tiny one, right? Strip mall meaning, you have a collection of stores that are faced in on each other, like Florida, in the South, you have more of them, and you can go to these different stores and park in the open lot and go in. Well, there's a tiny, I can't even call it a strip mall, but a few collection of stores and establishments, and one is a boxing gym. And on a footnote, it's Joshua Clottey, the one who fought Manny Pacquiao years ago, and he lost. He put a good showing. That's where his boxing gym is. And in the middle of the parking area, you have young men and a few young ladies playing basketball, and they have a makeshift basketball. I'm telling you all this for a reason. And then there's a big slab of concrete that I'd say might be 3.5 feet or 4 feet, maybe 4 feet by 4 feet. It's a slab, but it's not that thick. And it had a piece, a metal eyelet. Like, when you, and it has a little round thing. Lifted up the rope. And now we saw steps going down into the ground. Steps. In this hole, in this place where there's a little parking lot. I said, man, what is that? He said, this is where they would bring the slaves and bring them into this tunnel, which 3/4 or a mile away, they had to go into this tunnel where there were no lights. If it would rain, it would fill up. And most of the time they'd suffocate and die right there. And you're sitting there stepping on skeletons or dead, rotting bodies as you were shackled and walking through this tunnel, which had to be about maybe 10, 12 feet, I would say, down into the ground, no lights. And immediately walked down to the bottom, right? I didn't even go in the tunnel. There was another huge step where there was nothing but water. And you want to talk mosquitoes. And this was the daytime.
My gosh.
I was sweating profusely so bad, I couldn't have gotten any wetter than if I jumped in the ocean and stood there and stayed there for 5 minutes and came back out. I never saw myself sweat like that. So at the end of the tunnel, over there where they had the slave ships, and this is a fishing area now that the Chinese have taken over illegally. Well, legally as far as the government giving them permission, but illegally on a moral level. There's a place over there, and it's Jamestown, and Benjamin Franklin's name is on the building. So now, move it forward to Jamestown, Virginia, where they received slaves. So this is a mockery. They didn't teach us that Benjamin Franklin had something to do with the slave trade at the time of his life. And there was a place that they manipulated to name Jamestown. What a mockery. So you go from Jamestown in Ghana to Jamestown, West Virginia. This is how twisted they are. This is how sick they are. They want to rub it in your face. And now that they're being exposed on the good side of social media, we see how much of their DNA is under the nails of the people they killed and the women they raped.
Yes, indeed.
So I reject all of it. That's right. We're going back to Brother Samuel within 2 weeks. Talk. I don't care if you want to talk for 6 hours. We're going to get all of it.
Yes, indeed.
Because this brother knows his stuff. And I'm going to set it up where we can send him some money to help him out, because he's helping out the kids that are there and the people that are there that lived there for thousands of years in this fishing village. But the government allowed the Chinese to bring their bulldozers and get those people out.
Right.
They're living fishing. And they can go out on these little boats, go way out and come back. That was their skill. They're not bums. They were just poor people who were making it by what they did, but now they totally pushed them out. And nobody's talking about it because of those leaders who are here who have compromised the people because of their own greed. We got big billboards of what that place is going to look like.
Can you imagine?
And I heard they got far. And so we're going to go back and expose it even deeper. We did a drive
gentrification.
We're going to go now. We're going to go now. And I'm going to take the day and let him pour his heart out and keep going back every few weeks.
Right.
You can see for yourself, but I want him to bring me back into that part. And I'm going to go down in there, maybe try to go 5 feet into the tunnel. I don't know if I will. Maybe it'll make me water, but I'm going to go enough where you can see with the camera, and I'm going to have to sweat again. You ain't going to see this on no CNN.
Of course not.
You ain't going to see. You ain't going to see nothing. They ain't going to teach you in school at Jamestown, Ghana, after Ben Franklin. Wait a second. Ben Franklin had something to do with slavery? He condoned us to come out here and put his name on that? I mean, it runs deeper than that, but that's the surface thing that I can remember. So we're going to have him go deep, and I want to research. And I'm going to ask when I connect, when the brother drops the facts and drops names to help me research. I'm not really a researcher. I can do that, but I'm not like Sister Beatrice Noel. And I know there are a lot of brothers and sisters out here who may have a bit of fragmented information here and there. And if we piece it together and present it to the researchers amongst us, we can come up with the true thing. But they're not going to tell us anything like that. See? Ain't that something?
Ain't that something?
So
that's going to be some kind of interview. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait for 2 weeks.
I want to tape it on 2 cameras so I get 2 different angles.
Right. Yes.
You miss something in the background or something. No, you're not going to miss nothing, because when I get the camera in my hand, my total focus is on getting what I need to get and keeping my eye on that lens and on the screen. So I see it's like, okay, I'm shooting this the way I want to see it. We ain't going to miss a syllable of that bad boy.
Awesome.
It's going to happen because we have to go out there to take care of some business anyway. So I'm going to speak to him before this week is over. We got to do on this week, but I think it's going to be this week. It doesn't matter which day, because
Right. It's interesting, and it's not like everybody can come in on the live when the show started. But if you come in the middle, sometimes you really have to reserve your commentary. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's because exactly, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, hold your peace. If you come in late, you have to be very careful how you phrase, your comments, because clearly he wasn't here at the beginning when we talked about certain things. You know what I'm saying? So now that you're here and you're looking at the title and you're seeing Black social media or Black, the Black community, well, there's more to it than what you're looking at right here. This is a title. And I mean, as everybody knows with our show, we go in a circle. You know what I mean? We start at point A and we go all around. Point A to point Z is not a straight line for us. Point A to point Z is a circle. So ultimately, we do what we say, we speak, we give examples, and we come back to, to where we started.
Yes. And so speaking about the mental health issue in the Black community, how we relate to each other is toxic. And again, this is not absolute. I'm not saying everybody. I'm not throwing off on anybody here in the chat room or who may watch this afterward. If you feel convicted, then maybe something is true to this with you.
Right.
But I'm not here to throw out like I'm some saint, like it hasn't affected me.
I guess I upset some people. A whole bunch of people just came off.
Well.
Oh my God. Like 15 or 18 people just dropped off.
I'm not here to cater to anyone like that.
My gosh, that's funny.
To go along, to get along and be in a dysfunctional situation. I'm that old uncle at the cookout who will tell your ass a mess. And I don't mean in an evil way, but you're not going to have to worry or wonder what I'm thinking.
Right.
Like I was saying, we relate to each other. And just like it was said, well, other people, it's not just Black people. Look, I'm not treated other than being Black in this society. So that's me.
Right.
Privileges in this so-called society, which is going to hell. I'm not on site afforded the privileges that others get. So don't put me or put them in the same bucket with me when they don't have to go through what I go through. Oh, it's so nice to be in a crowd and not have to deal with so many of them. But yes, in the beginning of the show, I talked about John Stonehill and Judah Stonehill, who are white people who I love dearly for who they were and what they did for my family. So I'm not contradicting myself, but I'm saying the majority who benefit and who have the privilege don't give a damn about us. They may
exactly
or give some money at the red light to a little hungry black boy to alleviate themselves of white guilt. Right. Or simply say something nice or donate something in front of everybody for a photo op on their character. Joe Biden was the vice president under Barack Obama, but he's the biggest racist. Look at the things that he said back in the day up into the present, but things against black people.
Right, exactly.
People think, well, you can evolve. You can evolve from that.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. You're is or you're ain't. That's all it is. I remember back in the 70s, and I couldn't understand because I never followed him in politics like that, right? Mm-hmm. But I knew what I knew from the 70s, that he wasn't someone that our people, for the most part, cared anything about. You know what I mean? So when all of a sudden Joe Biden becomes, this person that we should be voting for, or he's on a ticket with somebody that looks sort of like the majority of us. You know what I mean?
Mexican it's like, but anyway.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like, how the hell, how did that happen? When did it happen that we as black people were now going to be looking at this man as someone we should now, in this 2021, 2020 dispensation of time, be voting for? How?
So look how social media has been used to mind screw us over, that we see some things that are obvious, but yet and still we blindly go because of the blind loyalty to a Democratic Party. There should be no blind loyalty to any politics at all. You are the president of your life. You're the one who makes decisions for your life. These people don't give a damn about you, and they're different wings on the same plane. They don't care. It's a big distraction. Pull away from that mentality. Depend on yourself and depend on each other. We all getting together now, en masse for the most part. And we have some black Republicans, so-called, but that's like me standing in a pot and calling myself a tree or a plant. I'm lying to myself. We got more drive to go out, vote or die, vote or whatever, and get around each other and rally as black people for some white man or for some white controlled black person or somebody who looks like us who still don't give a damn because they're in the secret handshake group. But if we took that same energy that we get behind this candidate or that candidate who says, we know how it was before for you people, but now this is the one. When are you gonna realize that this Negro who's telling you that he loves you is always gonna slip by your house 2 a.m. to get the goods and get that physical sexual release, but he ain't never gonna marry you? There ain't nothing in America that's gonna get behind you. They'll talk good, and they want to assassinate and get rid of those who are on the grassroots level, who have nothing to lose, who tell it like it is, or they want to discredit a person like that. But it ain't never, ever, ever going to come through politics.
Exactly.
Well, if you need your light bulb or your street light or your road paved, deal with the parts that touch you. You can go down to your local councilman and say, hey, we need this done. But as far as that president, vice president, senator, congressman, bull crap, they're more worried about becoming lobbyists after they leave the political arena so they can line their pockets with money.
Yes.
Or they can get their health care for free for the rest of your life.
For life, yes.
Huge ass deductible that you have to pay that looks like
That's
a damn
the only reason.
On minimum wage money.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason why the majority of them get into politics and go into higher politics.
Yes.
Right. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. They don't care a damn about anybody. Nothing. I get
That's right.
free health care. My
That's
kids can get free schooling. For the most part, I can get free security, everything free. And then you can you can do the circuit, the what do you call it? It just went out of my head. When
Yeah,
you
that's
go
what I'm
around and
talking about.
speak, the speaking circuit, okay,
So,
and make money. That's it.
right.
That's all they care about.
What
It's
happened
it's the
to,
little local people that care about you, and we never remember the little local people that are in
that's
our
right.
community trying to make our community better. We don't remember them because we
Yeah.
only look at the big picture.
But what happened to that? I'll say African. We know we have 54 countries here. So culturally and different things and the little rifts, tribal rifts. But overall, what happened to that? And I'm going to say it, that original African hierarchy where they didn't need politics. They had a hierarchy and you had your elders who had so much wisdom that we as younger people would go to them for the wisdom. And if we had a dispute, we had to deal with the elders and that was final. And guess what? The elders weren't rolling around on a camel or rolling around on some kind of animal that was considered some luxury. But guess what? It was our duty out of respect and need to take care of those elders. They shouldn't have to worry about a damn thing. So they've snatched a template of what we had and gave us a substitute system where they benefit in America, in the UK, and the world and their political system. And we think that this is it, but it's something fraudulent. And we don't get anything back because there's no wisdom trickling down. And these are not our elders. You don't vote elders in. Elders earn that over time by what they've been through, and you respect the sanctity of their positioning because you know they have that wisdom. And we as younger people whose backs are strong and who are around and up and strong, we have to physically take care of them. They shouldn't have to pick a fruit off a tree because of the value that they have. And they never had to decide on a social security check.
Exactly.
We who benefit from their wisdom, we are their social security check and beyond. And it's not just a matter of the money. The money has stripped us out and we run after the money, but it has no soul. It has no connection. So we've been in this European system to give up what we had. And even in slavery, we still held on to certain things that kept us intact. But those last bit of remnants of what we had, social media is cleaning away. So there's a disconnect and we don't know who the hell we are. We don't know who to turn to. And our mental health is terrible.
Exactly.
We don't see each other as we should. The brothers see the women as playthings. And some of the women who are gold diggers will put themselves out there as playthings just to get the money out of you. Not all of our sisters, but a thin slice. I'm just throwing a few things out there. And we have men
sir.
Should be
Yes,
elders
indeed.
with gray hair in their head, and we assume they have wisdom. And you, as a young lady, go to this older man for a fatherly wisdom, but he ain't thinking about you in a fatherly way. Come on over here, girl. You see? So we're all disconnected and we're all messed up, and we've got to restore what was taken away. But social media in this society and this sick culture that we're in, on the community tab here on YouTube, which many people never go to because they don't know about it. And I never really use it except to drop a few links, but I'm going to be dropping some other things that I see. Right. And I found a video and I forgot whether it was on Facebook or Instagram, I think it was. And it was a video, and I just want to know if anybody here saw it because it's there if you scroll down. In this video, there's a white woman and a white man who I think are together in a sense, not a wholesome sense. And they were talking about the small horse, I believe it's a horse that they have.
Oh, God, please.
And she's speaking about, I didn't know what this was about, so I'm watching it. And so she's speaking about how she masturbates the horse and how the horse loves even more the feeling of oral sex. And I'm like, horses don't do oral sex on each other. She's talking about how she turned
why
on.
You have to bring that up?
And about to release the horse. And how it's a small horse. And so she got to the horse where she would get on all fours. And you know what? A white woman. Now, look. This is the one that got me. This is the one that got me. When the man of the couple, now he's sitting around here watching his woman talk about that. That's
they listen. They look like what do you call it? West Virginia.
Yes.
Town folks anyway. So I mean,
he got up there now talking about how he likes to see this with the woman. And so with his experimentations with the horse, it's there now. Go to the community tab on this channel and scroll down. And you know what he said? It's not so much that he gets a sexual feeling on a physical level when the horse enters him from behind. It's more of a mental thing because he knows how good the horse is feeling when the horse is up in this white man's anus.
Listen.
Even without using profanity on here, they want to give me a strike on my channel.
Exactly.
I had 3 strikes on my channel. That's hate speech. Well, we were speaking about something very truthful, and I didn't say kill whitey. I didn't say hate white people. I didn't say any of those things, but I spoke of my experiences and the experiences of those who come on the channel and express themselves, and somebody didn't like it. So you mean the hell you condone something like that that's on Instagram and made in a somewhat professional way? This wasn't some phone that made this video. We live in a sick society.
I think it's on YouTube too. I think it's on YouTube.
So
yeah, it's on YouTube.
Come and say, well, it's not just black people, but the whole society. Listen, we're not thinking about y'all. This is what we must do to deal with ourselves and to separate ourselves, whether you want to stay in America or not. That's your choice. But to separate ourselves, at least mentally, when we are amongst them, and to separate ourselves from that mentality when it's just us that's around us, because it doesn't mean that it's going to be a kumbaya moment when you get around your own black people, even here on the motherland. Because like I said before, and I'm going to say it again boldly, many, not all, many of the African Americans who are coming to the motherland have mental health issues that they're not dealing with, bringing this over here. And like Elizabeth says, some of y'all don't even need to come over here and pollute this place with that mentality until you get yourself here. I'm not saying anybody here, or I'm saying this in general, because we got so many African-American groups over here, and they'll greet you at the airport, a kwaba, and they'll wear the kente cloth, and they'll wear the dashikis and talk righteous for a little while until you hear one gossiping about the other. Gossiping about the next group, and ain't nobody built a damn thing. It's symbolic offerings of a culture, and we're so happy to get away, and a lot of us are running. But if you run from that and don't take care on the inside, it ain't gonna be no different over here, because your head is screwed up.
It's messed up. Exactly.
I was okay before I left. I was okay long before I left. I knew the deal, and I knew that, and I didn't expect that when I came to Africa, it was going to be this big moment, aha moment. It was in a sense, but I already knew how I wanted to live, and I was living that in America, isolated from the foolishness. I just wanted more space. I didn't want to see no more white cops. I didn't want to be followed in the store by a Korean who got here 2 years ago, and he's looking at me like his money that he gets comes from me and people who look like me in my community, but he goes over next to the white people who are using them for the buffer race. And if I drive through there, they call the cops on me. But nigga, you get in your house from me and people who look like me. I don't even want to see that. Exactly. And even though I'm over here right now, look, I'm moving in a solo level. Sister Lazea would tell that to you. Now, there are others who have come here that I'm vetting right now, but I'm not just going to group up with everybody. And y'all been here 20, 30 years and ain't do sugar, honey, iced tea. And look, and I'm not even bragging. We have done more than many who have been here all these years.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Y'all have. Yes, indeed.
The BS we had to deal with, the toxic BS. We have done more in less than a year. Because we got here and got busy. I didn't come here to play, but I can't put all my business out. And when it comes out, it's like, God, dog, you ain't lying. You came here to get busy, even with the
right.
inside.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Think I'm playing? You think to sit up here and just do videos? I love the videos, and we're always going to do it. But we got to get our hands dirty, and we have. What do you think Miss Scurv is now? She's working like a mule right now because of her love for what she wants to do, and she's going to share it. Even last night, she asked me, show me how to work that camera, that extra one, so I can go and get in some video and show the people, but I want to do it right. I said, okay, no problem.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And you're right. Kwame, Malcolm said, if you hate on Africans, you hate yourself. And look at all the people who are knocking people like me who came here, who are part of the foundational black whatever or African American descendants. All these groups. What are we? What is a car? Drop in the transmission, say I'm on my own. I can't operate with you no more. The engine go another place, the tires go another place. You ain't going nowhere if you operate like that.
That's
right. If you feel a certain way, you still have to see the parts that are common. We all catch in hell. We sitting here making up categories and splitting up categories and whatever, and we're a different group, so we don't get with that group. That's the same BS that's going on out here.
Separation. That's what they want us to do.
Other places, yes.
Exactly.
So our mental health is off because if you got, look, put it this way, you got North Korea, you got South Korea. They say North Korea is oppressed and they say South Korea is a little better because I guess they see that it's Americanized, whatever it may be. But if you think a North Korean person came and a South Korean person came and had to deal with black people in America or anywhere, that they're going to side with the black people, they have their own differences. But listen, they say North and they say South, but when it comes to dealing with the niggas, we are Koreans.
That's it. Straight up.
You can't be that way.
Straight up. Why can't we just be, what the hell are we?
Exactly.
What are we? I mean, because if you say American, you're lumping yourself with everybody. You say Black American, then it's like, well, I mean, nobody wants to be called Black American. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You say African American, and then you have the group that says, well, I'm not African. You say Native American, and then they say, well, the black people are not the natives. It's the red people that are the natives. So then what the hell are we?
Exactly. Indigo King 111, you're so right. I would want to slap him too. Because again, this thing has traveled all over the world and we're so screwed up. So now we have to go undercover within our own ranks. Like Chuck D said, every brother's
William Wallace. Oh, you're still here, hon? Yeah, I know we're not human, we're human.
HUE-MAN. We're not into this all-inclusive thing right now because we are in a state of emergency as a people globally. So we're going to use our resources and what little we have as far as wisdom and the people who are conscious to go and sing "We Are the World" and "We Are the World," and leave our people in the state that they're in mentally. Because see, I don't have what you would call the money to erect this structure and fly people over and do all of this stuff. But on a cerebral level, maybe I can motivate with what little I know. And if you have something on a cerebral level, if you have something on a wisdom level, let's all come together and share it. So again, I'm not considering everybody else because everybody else is happy where they are and they're not reaching out to us. Everybody else has benefited from our presence on this globe, with the planet Earth being the universe's largest crime scene. They got blood on their hands because of us.
Yes.
They enjoy what they have because of us. So it would be wrong for me to turn around and say, well, it's everybody. No, I'm focused on what I got to do here. My house is burning. You over there having a cookout and my house is burning. And I'm going to say, well, let me just go over there and enjoy the cookout with you.
While my house burns.
My house is burning. How can I feed your kids when mine are hungry?
Exactly.
How can I make your wife happier by cutting your lawn when you're gone? And mine is up to my shoulders. And my wife ain't happy. That's the problem with us. We worry about everybody else, but to hell with us, and we don't concern ourselves with us. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
What is it about us? Anytime we have an issue, it's everybody, or well, they have to go through the same thing too. And look, and there are situations where they have to go through stuff. But what does that have to do with me? Because when they were on their feet, they didn't give a damn about the people who look like me or changing the system that keeps us there and makes it harder. And then they let a few through as far as celebrities, and some work hard and they earn a position somewhere in their system, and they earned it a long time ago, but those people afforded them that, and they parade them around. Well, look, there's a black astronaut, there's a black scientist here. Well, you didn't do nothing for him. And just because there's one or two of those who you say are successful in the system, but they're muzzled, because when they always come out with their books, they talk about the bullshit that they had to go through in the ranks coming up. But if you want this job, you have to be quiet on what you've been through. We know it happened, but you must be quiet about it, or you'll cease to exist as far as having a career. All of us have to go through that. And I'm not going to stop talking about it. In whatever way, with surgical precision to go in, whether it's this topic or that topic or this topic, or we're telling jokes, I'm going to tell some stinging jokes. Because exactly. As a young, talented black man with so much vision, they didn't destroy me. But it was a rude awakening, even though I had parents who told me to deal. Even the white man, John Stonehill, sat around the table and in his own way in front of my father and mother told me to deal about how his people are.
Exactly.
We can't concern ourselves in this particular time with everyone else when we're losing our minds and losing our connectedness. My lights are off because I ain't pay them, but I'm going to give my money to keep your lights on. I love you, but I need my lights.
I agree. I'm just typing.
How some of us, I understand how some of us think, and how we always leave a space at the table for the other when that other doesn't give a damn if we're eating or we're living or thriving. It's not for them. So now that we got hip to the game, depend on them or look for acknowledgement or validation in anything we do, and move independently, because we can't project an image of moving independently without him, meaning the system, not just a single white man, but that system that they benefit from and others benefit from, because they will let others come behind you and dine at the table and accept them. And for those who may be called Latino, because those are black folks that know how to swim, or those Asians that are talking about, well, there's a different kind of racism that we have to go through. Listen, you got your damn country. You got your damn language. You got your damn God. You got your economic infrastructure and system that supports you. So how the hell are you going to come here and talk about racism?
That's right.
I hear all of that. I'll crush the enemy and make him come to the table in a subservient manner, because I approach him in power, because I don't need you. You need me. And this is what most Africans need to understand.
That's right.
Stop thinking everything else is better, where in your continent, if we were to remove Africa off of the face of the earth would dry the hell up.
Yes, it would.
Cold as the UK is. Cold as China and Japan, all them places, cold as it is. They need food, and certain things don't grow where they are. We are the food of the world. Like Brother Leo has said, Pope Leo X. We are the food basket of the planet. We have all the resources.
Yes, indeed.
Africa, like Brother Kwasi said, who owns a cell phone company that every time you hold a cell phone, you're holding a piece of
Africa
in your damn hand. Yet other people are making money off of those minerals and off of those substances that you can only get from the Congo. But because of the compromised leaders that allow them to come on in, and they look at you like you're nothing, but they're going to your root to get what they need to nurse them to an economic freedom and dominance worldwide.
Hold on a second. William, what the hell are you? I mean, are you one of us or one of them? I just really want to know. I really want to know. And if you said peace because you're stepping off the chat, don't delete him, Lance. Don't delete him. But I'm just, I just, because I was going to delete him before, but I just really want to know, what exactly are you? One of us or one of them? Because you're talking out of two sides of your mouth right now.
But he doesn't like to hear what we're saying. Listen, Mr. William Wallace, you have so much to say. So this is what I'll say to you. Let's see your face. Let's hear your voice. Why don't you come on in and talk?
Drop a link. Drop a link. Come on in. Exactly.
On in. We welcome you. Come on in. Come on in and talk about it.
We're not going to delete you. I mean, I could have done that a long time ago. So come on in and talk to us.
Exactly. Oh, okay. But wait a second. You say, please don't think I'm trying to troll. You're working out the problems that are most urgent to you. Well,
that's why I said what I said.
Would you have it any other way? White folks work out the problems that are most urgent to them, usually at the expense of us. We're talking amongst us. We're not talking about gathering up and invading somebody else's land and raping their women and taking their resources. Not that we can really do that right now, but that's not our heart. That is the heart of those enemies. And I'm not just going to say it's just white folks, because everybody's getting in on it. Imagine a bunch of men walking down the street of different races, and there's a white man in the alleyway raping one of the most beautiful sisters that's in the community. And we think the races of these other people.
You just answered my question. Okay. Well, that's all right. You could still stick around one of these days.
But listen. So now we have the Chinamen and we have the Japanese and we have the man, the Indian man, and they're walking down the street and they see what the man's doing to them, but their lust for the woman's flesh takes over. And they would never do this on their own. It was in their heart when they lusted after that sister. So they look at each other and look around and they go for their turn.
Yes.
This is what happened to us. Because as we're being raped, other races follow through with it. And that man said, it's okay to go. Our numbers are going down. We're only 9% of the population. We will be a memory one day, and we will be the minority in America. But they're already the minority in the world. So they have to set it up because they hate us so bad, and they see how our numbers, our population is growing. This is why they have to keep the diseases going. See, they got this thing going around where they say how bad it is and how many people it's killing. And you have to take the jab and you have to wear a mask. But malaria kills more people than that thing. So since the malaria, I don't know how much of it is all over the world, because I know it's not just in the motherland, but a lot of it is in the motherland. And I caught malaria in 2019 and I really caught it in time with the medication.
Right.
Okay. Right. But they don't care about that. But those numbers are more than this thing that they're saying you have to take a jab from. But since it's killing off niggas in their mind, it's okay, because that will help to reach the goal of keeping their numbers down.
So they can take our land, they can take our continent, so that they can populate the continent and live, and we can die off. Please.
Exactly. Fear of a black planet. You're right. Spirit within. So use this video from Manny Fresh and Juvenile, Vax That Thing Up, from the song Back That Thing Up, which has a catchy tune. But the main push in the video is not even saying take the vaccine to protect yourself. No, if you take the vaccine, we'll be safe now to have sex. That's what every lyric
yes.
You see what happened to HIV? Is this jab going to stop us from going raw dog and getting messed up on that level?
Exactly.
Unbelievable. And they push with that. And we're so lustful and carnal, too many of us. That's all we can see. So if they don't get us one way, they'll run us into the very thing that we need to be protecting ourselves from in the first place. Because HIV doesn't go anywhere, and it's still killing people in our community. And it's out here in the motherland. It's a big problem out here. The STDs and stuff. And yes, we're frustrated. We've been oppressed. We don't feel like we have any power. Look, we may not smoke crack. We may not drink. But that pretty young girl over there with that nice shape, she need to come over here and visit with me, and we can escape the feeling of being oppressed together as we pleasure each other for a little while. That may result in a child that we can't handle, or may result in something that we can't
get rid of.
Take us on out of here.
Exactly.
Not to say stuff on a negative level. But we need to know where the minefields are out here for us, that they run us from one thing into another. How cunning they are. So it's a constant mind FUCK.
My dear.
Other than what it is.
That is what it is.
Scrambled. We want the wealth. We want the fame. We don't get the acknowledgement that we think we have. Young sister could sing so good in church, and she knows she's better than the person on the screen. But the person on the screen, on the TV, and on the videos, and the famous celebrity had to do things that they would never do, but they don't know that. So as the years go by, I'm striving for this, and it never seemed like I can make it. So maybe something's wrong with me, and I fall into a depression.
Right.
You should not want any part of their world. It will do nothing for you. And what little you see it do for the few that are put up there, they had to give up more. And they will soon be disposed like a snotty little rag, a tissue paper with snot on it.
$100, Kwesi, $100. My life is worth only $100. Unbelievable. For a donut.
Exactly.
For a hot dog.
So we don't need to desire anything that they have stolen from us. We need to restructure and refurbish and bring back and restore who we are.
Yeah.
Creative people that are solution makers. Because most of what you see out here, we created, and they lied and took from us. We think that it's them who are the saviors. They come around and he's a white man, so he must know what to do. We automatically assume that he's the boss man. No, they're coming around to see what we do and parade themselves with our solutions. We need to know, not believe, because beliefs can change. We need to know that we are the baddest, bad meaning good now, the baddest man on the planet, the baddest woman on the planet, the strongest man on the planet, the strongest woman on the planet, the most cerebral with a high mind and vibration, as long as we reject the foolishness and mental, physical, spiritual junk food that they put on us. We need to know that we're the most beautiful, we're the most sexy, we have the longest shelf life of anyone on the planet as long as we stay away from their poisons. We don't, what the hell we need these people for?
Right. Yes, Yakima.
So they can steal our stuff. They steal our stuff and put their face on it, and we've been fooled to think that they are the answer.
That's right.
Tell them like it is.
They got to take our power back. That's right, Spirit.
The Romans and these people who went to Timbuktu when they didn't know Jack,
and got taught and turn it against us. Yes.
But yet we're supposed to be swinging on trees and you ought to be glad we brought you from the jungle. Well, see, the fools who believe in that, they don't understand that it wasn't there are jungles over here, but they were highly intelligent people with a perfect society. Yes, we had tribal. I'm not going to romanticize things. We had things like things that we worked out. We had things that happened, but we worked it out. We didn't need them. But the level of being so barbaric never came to Africa until the white man came here. And the white mentality and the world. He jacked up the world. Every single place he's gone on the planet, he went there and messed it up, stole stuff from the people, messed up the order, cut down the trees, messed up the ecosystem, messed everything, and put it on us. And we got to bear the weight of paying back the debt of that. And we fall into the system, back out of the system, and make it collapse. Make it collapse. Make it collapse. Take pleasure when it collapses, because that very system that you honor and you want to get to the top of is holding your people down. So now you may have been rewarded in that system.
Yep.
But for you to get those little trinkets that you have being used as a pawn, so you can be shown and paraded that yes, there's some who make it here. No, you didn't make it. You're being used. That white man is you as a secretary in this big company. That white man don't want you because of your intellectual accomplishments. You have them. But you knew when you went for that interview to be that secretary, that's the first thing they see in that company when they come through those office doors is them two big melons that you got sitting up there, double D, and you know you better unbutton that blouse a little bit and show a little leg and smile and wear that lipstick over those luscious lips so those white men could be titillated at the slave that you have, that we're a conquered people. And you got your slave there. Subservient, booty. Look up booty in the dictionary or Google it, B-O-O-T-Y.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We have the last word, but booty. And I'm always going to say that. Maybe there's some people that heard me say it before and some who haven't. Why the hell are we calling our women booty and letting other people call our women booty? When we as Black men call our women booty, we are saying to the world that we are a conquered people.
People, exactly. We're the loot. We're the loot of the world.
Conquered people. We talk about two rounded, very attractive ass cheeks. So how does that mean we're a conquered people? Because booty means the spoils of war.
Exactly.
Booty is the gold and the property and the resources of the country after you conquered it.
Exactly.
So our sisters are the booty of the war on us as a people, as well as our strength and our intellectual property and all the things that we bring. But the most glaring thing is that when you conquer that country and remove and kill off all the men, you have a woman there that's yours for the taking.
You have the booty.
So that black
kill off the men
who thinks that she's just feeding her family. She doesn't know symbolism. Nobody told her to unbutton the blouse 3 buttons down, but she knows she has to do that.
That's right. Hit the like button, guys.
Talk to her in a kind way. It's because they have her where they want her to be.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
He might be in there. There's a little glass behind it. He can see to the desk and you can't see how he's manipulating himself. He could be beaten off looking at you.
Ain't that something?
You come to the Christmas party and you honor and respect your man, and he could be just a truck driver or a sanitation worker, but you honor and respect them. Guess what? Oh, we're over budget this year. We can't afford to employ you.
We can't keep you on any longer.
Honor your Black man. We gave you a position. Little Black concubine. It's the unwritten rule that you do not honor and respect Black manhood because it has no place here. Unless you're older and you're a maintenance man who's disgruntled. And
no threat, or what appears to be no threat.
That's right.
Yes.
See? So we got to understand that every time we call all women booty, now we know we say it innocently, like some of us want to say the N word behind closed doors or the B word behind closed doors. But every time we say booty, especially in front of them, we're admitting that we're conquered. We're a conquered people. We got to reject this language.
Spirit within, that's a good question. That really is a good question. And like Brother Lance just said, if we don't fix our individual selves, we can't unite as a people. You know, we have to fix ourselves individually, because we can try and we can get a few that are on board, but the masses are I wouldn't say never. But right now, with the system the way it is, the masses are not on board with you. Got to fix yourself.
Exactly. And I'm so glad you said that, Monty. I will never stop being a proud African black male for no damn race, sex, or anything else. And Carol Williams, you know the deal, Carol. Look what she said. Exactly. I have gone to the office parties and show love for my husband, and the looks on their faces is how.
Yes.
Then they want to come dance. See, they want to come dance with you to show power over that man. They don't sincerely want to dance with you. They can't dance anyway. They want to get a little closer to you.
They want to feel up on you. That's what it is.
She's my property, little nigga. And just like back on the plantation, I can go up in your house and impregnate your wife anytime I want, and you can't do a damn thing. You see what I mean? So these are the things that we got to stop, that we can stop. And we have to be aware of them to be able to stop them. Because on a psychic level, we have been screwed over, and we follow through with the program of what they want on a smaller level. And of course, I don't care about none of these politicians, none of these crackers like that. But Rudy Giuliani, I'm going to take a page from his book. I don't honor him in no kind of way. But when he was mayor of New York City, he went after everything and went after the black neighborhoods. Now, I'm not condoning that. Just listen to what I'm saying now. If you were walking down the street with a paper bag and had some kind of beverage in it, the cops pulled up on you to make sure you weren't walking around with beer. They frisked you. They harassed us. So what I'm saying is that we need to chastise ourselves internally and cleanse ourselves and chastise righteously in a non-combative way each other to let each other know what the deal is. And we got to stop the small things so they don't turn into big things.
Exactly.
You braiding or you're combing your little niece's hair. Oh, you got some good hair. So that means there's some bad hair.
Somebody good bad hair. Where the hell is that?
Close by with strong hair, strong black hair. Strong spiritual antennas that reach to the sky to download even more signals righteously. And now she feels bad about what she has, and she desires nothing more than getting that relaxing cream to destroy her connection to the universe that the white man and his women are jealous of. So they love when you show these signs of submission in their presence. Okay, she relaxed her hair. And like Paul Mooney used to say, they love when you relax your hair because they can relax more around you because you're trying to change yourself to appease their fears.
My gosh.
Yes, Julie, to get you on the show ASAP. We can do something later on today. We can do something tomorrow. You let me know. There's my phone number going across the bottom. You can call that number directly. If I don't pick up because I'm doing a recording or something, just leave a message. It will go right to my voicemail. It will go right to my email also. So please reach out to me and let me know.
Let me just drop your info in the link also in the chat also. Yeah. I'm slipping, Brother Lance. I'm not doing my my administrative duties in addition to my show.
Exactly. But, no, that's cool. We're home right now symbolically. We're all connected right here and on one accord. So no matter where you are physically, we're all connected and it's okay. That's what we do.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that. No. Social media's toxic effects on the mental health of the Black community is continuing the things that were implemented from years ago, from the Willie Lynch letter coming up to when you had to, if you're on welfare, they come around and make sure there's no Black man around. From the feminist movement, where many Black women abandoned the Black movement and ran with the white women so the white women can get with, and now the Black women don't have nothing. All these different things splitting us up. The whole LGBT thing where so many of us were so glad to be embraced by white folks because they needed our numbers and they needed our support. So They're not coming to look after your child when it's shot or things that are happening in the Black community, but you can damn sure come help them, and they act like they love you. But gay white is one of the most stinging things for a gay Black man or a lesbian woman, right? So all these little things split us up. So now they don't have to have these movements per se. Social media can have MGTOW. There's no MGTOW building. What does MGTOW mean? Men going their own way. And we have a lot of Black men who are bitter at the sisters, and they say, and really what it is a precursor to swirling. Because where are you going? And that's okay. MGTOW, men going their own way. Where are they going? They're going to go, like I said, they're going to sit down somewhere and have a circle jerk? What the hell is a circle jerk? Well, a circle jerk, man, I tell you, I've never indulged in that.
I know what it is, bro.
So I saw a flyer on 61st Street in Broadway in the phone booth in 1985 about a circle jerk. And we're going to have this circle jerk at this a particular
location.
Location. It wasn't a club. It was like some little place where we can sit around, and they're going to have at least 50 chairs there. What is a circle jerk? Is this something where we eat jerk chicken? Is this something where we circle and pray to God? Or what is a circle jerk? So I found out what it was.
Did you go?
Thing. No, I didn't go. Shit, hell no. I knew. I sniffed it. I said, "This is something gay. This is something gay. This is something gay."
Because I know you're curious, you know.
Water too quick. Unless I know what's in that water, it might be piranha in that bad boy. And you're gonna go first. A circle jerk is when you take chairs and form it in a circle, and men sit in the chairs, and they're all facing each other. And you take your right hand and reach over to the man sitting next to you, and you grab his penis and masturbate him. And the one to your left takes his right hand and masturbates you, and y'all look at each other. That's the circle jerk.
Boy.
I done stumbled on all kind of things, and I'm telling you, I ain't being quite. No, I ain't going there now.
I thought your curiosity got the better.
No. The only way I do it is
joking. I'm joking.
I reach over and feel the China or something. I ain't trying to feel no man.
I'm just messing with you.
Again, if you hear it in the background,
a little bit, yeah. If you don't say it, nobody pays attention to it.
Right.
You know.
But yeah.
It's like me calling attention to certain things about me. If I don't say it, nobody notices. You know,
it's crazy. So I found out the hard way. You know, but like I said, Erica, no, I would never go to nothing like that.
No, he's asking. He forgot to put the question mark.
No. I was so paranoid after that. You know, they had the store, what was it, Circle K? I didn't even go there. I'm like, they might have Circle. I don't want nothing to do with no Circle. You want jerk chicken? I don't want no jerk chicken. I don't know what's in there. Circle and jerk. Like I said, anything Circle, anything jerk for a long time, I didn't want to have nothing to do with.
Stop it.
Yeah, the Circle is all men. The Circle is all
Tina.
Men. Mm-hmm. It wasn't man, woman. You know what I mean? That could have been something to see. But all men, ain't no man touching me down there. I ain't touching no man. You want to do that? You do it. But that's not my party. Circle jerk, and they had it on the phone booth. And I found out when I asked somebody who was in that community, they're like, "Oh yes, you know, it's fun to do a circle." I'm like, "What are you talking like it's Disney or something? You know, Disney's wicked, but I'm just saying you're trying to make it seem like this is a wholesome activity." I was so ascended after I went to the circle jerk. Yeah, you better have a whole lot of napkins. Better have a whole
Tina,
lot of
you got a good point. You got a good point there. It sounds like a secret society ritual.
Yeah,
you got a good point.
It does. And also, it wasn't just a matter of the hand motion, because some of them took it upon themselves to put their face down in the next man's lap. So it was a daisy chain after a while. They forgot all about the chairs and got down on the floor. These white men are sick. And the brothers who follow behind them, that's some sick stuff. Really and truly. You sit there and you look up, you know, why did you bust out laughing? You know how that looks? Y'all
this is perversion to the max. You know that, right? These people.
I know. And they agree to do this.
We follow suit. And a lot of us follow suit.
Oh man, this crazy world we live in. But yeah, and we're gonna have to go in deeper with this topic. There's a few points that are floating around in my head that I can't pull down right now that I wanted to make. And I see the chicken out there; they enjoyed the show.
They did. They did, and everyone here enjoyed it. Also, lots of chatter, lots of communication back and forth.
Yes,
Love it. I love to see the chat room, when everyone's talking and sharing their points,
The energy. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And lots of faces that I haven't seen in a long time or seen before. And so it's nice to see new people.
Well, you know what it is? You know what it is? We haven't been doing lives like this on a consistent level. Like we did one over 3 hours long. We're going to do it like this. And, I had issues with power outages and I didn't want to just shut down in the middle of the show. So I kind of backed away from that. And still there's a possibility, but I'm not going to move in fear. Never did. But I have a contraption that I can plug into coming within the week that I can not worry about any power outages. We do have generators and stuff. But everything cuts off and then you're going to go run down and do that and come back and half the people who are on are gone. So remove what we fear. But I just wanted to say that what social media continues to do now has already been in place for us. This is just another level of attacking our mind, keeping our mental health under duress and keeping us from seeing what we need to really see because of how sweet. See, sin is sweet. Let's just say sin. I'm not saying it in a biblical way or a Christian way. I'm just saying things that we ain't supposed to be doing, right? Because of the decadence of the karma that comes behind us. There is sweetness to sin. There is a sweetness to sin. When I was a young boy running up in these older women's apartments and their husbands were gone or they might have been single or whatnot, it was she gonna give me some. Oh, she's an older woman. Oh, look at that shape. Nobody would know. We sneaking it. It was sweet in a decadent way, right? We have to admit that. We have to admit the drugs. I'm not saying just the hard street drugs, but anything that intoxicate us. To get a stronghold on it, we have to admit that this thing is good. You put extra sugar in your cereal. You put extra salt on your chicken. It makes it taste a certain way and warps it from what it was originally supposed to be.
Right.
But if you yourself and say, oh, no, it doesn't have a hold on me, that's when it's really going to have a hold on you. So you have to admit that there's a challenge. I hate to say problem. Problem has too much weight and negative energy to it. I like to say challenge. That's a call to action for the champion that you are. I have challenges. I don't have no damn problems. I have challenges in my life.
That's right, damn it.
Yeah, a bit steep to surmount, but it's a call to action.
That's right. And you'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Exactly. We'll surmount these challenges.
Exactly. But when conquering the inner demons and the things that have a hold on us, we must admit how sweet it has been. We must also ask, why was it so sweet for us?
So sweet.
Why has this become a substitute sweetness over the wholesome sweetness? You eat that thing that's sugary and it tastes good on your mouth, but it's doing nothing for nutrition in your body. The thing that gives you the nutrition doesn't maybe taste as sweet on the mouth, but it makes you feel good and strong over time. And that thing that can be sweet, it takes away from you. The thing that they talk about now with semen retention. And when you masturbate too much as a man, because you have fluids that get ejected, you are weakening yourself and your life force goes down and you can't make decisions as much. But if you don't give off the sperm like that, you wait until you're with a woman and even the right woman and you limit yourself to a point. And I know that's hard to do. But look at that. If you incorporate that a little bit in your life, then you will be stronger.
Right.
And social media will have less of a hold on you. Because we know, fellas, there's a whole lot of pretty things running around on social media that catch your eye and release those chemicals in your brain. And make it where you're hesitant to do the things in your real day that you're supposed to because you're sitting here lusting after some strange woman, getting an indirect soul tie to them. And I'm going to say an addendum to the sexually transmitted demon show. I just want to throw this in there. That every time, and I'm going to be brutally honest with this, fellas, you jerk off to porn. That woman that you're thinking about, them 2 or 3 women licking each other, you thinking about, they might be dead. But your retroactive soul tie with them. And you done came and felt good, and now you're ready to go to sleep. But wherever that person's energy is, you have connected to them because you got crazy in your mind. And look how she's sucking it. Look at her ass. Look at and you release where you think that energy is going. It's not just rubbing one out. Something goes up into the universe.
Exactly.
And, and she, wherever she is, or her energy now, has got this burden of all of these men who have ties with her. I just wanted to add that about that even more so. And yes, the same does apply to the woman. Does create or build up those voids on the inside. What I'm saying about men with semen retention, the aggression. Because see, let me tell you something. When you ain't have none for a while, you more aggressive as a man in this world. When you ain't have none for a while, as far as a release is concerned, or a real woman, you're in a battle mode more so. Because who wants to up and fight after a delicious orgasm? But for the ladies also, yes. When they release in that way, it may not be semen that comes out, but the release of that energy, and there's no one else there. So whatever spirits hanging around you can attach themselves to you. If you don't have somebody with you when you coming, those unseen energies that are around you, you done made us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Disembodied spirits around you.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and I said it before on that same show, that's the thing that even for us women, that these so-called sex gurus, you know, when they're telling people to learn how to self-pleasure and do this and do that, that's the thing that they're not telling you. You know, that you're never alone. You're never alone.
You have these energies around you who you're attaching yourself, and you give them an in to the body. You got the physical body, and when you release and you have this orgasm, there are things about you unseen that are opened up. You opened up the doors. So you can be symbolically upstairs in your house, and another person go to the front door and open up the door and don't close it when they take the garbage out, and all these mosquitoes come in, you don't know about it. And now you wake up itching. Why are these mosquitoes here?
Now, you know, saying all of this, we might sound like a bunch of prudes who are saying, you shouldn't do it. No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, we're not saying that.
I would never say that, but just be mindful. Be mindful, be aware, know what you're dealing with. Right. You're a mess, please.
But it's like having a gun. If I have a gun, I go to the range and shoot off my gun when I want to shoot off my gun. When I want to place the proper time, but I don't love guns. I'm just saying. But if I was one of guns and I say I love guns, I'm not going to go to the mall and shoot at people. I'm an old freak. I embrace that, and I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to utilize my freakdom in the wrong arena and get in trouble. No.
Right.
I love being a dirty old man, symbolically, but I'm not a predator, though. I'm just saying that for fun, right? I love having advanced myself to know what it is that I like. I know what it is on the menu of life.
Right. Just be aware. Just be aware. Just be aware. Just be aware. That's all. Now, Lance, do you want to answer Fine China's question?
And when you say, how does that work when someone is molested? Well, unfortunately, when someone is molested, what makes it so bad on top of the physical molestation is that there are entities that will attach themselves to you, even though you are innocent. And this is what I feel. I'm not going to say I know, but in my heart, I know, because I have been in that position almost 5 years old, an older cousin who was in her 30s, who would use me when nobody was around to go down on her. And that affected me. And this went on for quite a while. And I buried that. I wasn't traumatized. It was all fun and games. I didn't even remember it when I got older. But why did I have a propensity for those things? Like I prefer doing that, as most men do. But it was driven from what was on her that was attached to me. And it made me realize what made me who I am sexually, which I'm a heterosexual and always have been. But the certain tastes and fetishes and things that trigger me, like, ooh, a couch. Because it happened on the couch. Ooh, she has a slip on. Look at them legs. I didn't think that when I was a little baby. Those things were put on me. So now, even though it's unfortunate, it's for me to get those things off. Bad choice of words, right? Get those things off. It don't bother me because I enjoy certain things, as I should, but those things that are attached to me on a spiritual level that shouldn't be there. The soul ties with that energy is something you're going to have to cut. And
right.
Shoot your guns at the range, get your freak on in a wholesome way where it's not influenced from the things that happened to you, possibly if it was you that was molested, because you will have energies attached to you that you may not know or find out or discover. You may
exactly,
molested, but the spirits are on them.
Yes.
Energies.
Yes, Cheryl. Yes, indeed.
Yes. That's the word I was looking for. And be still to yourself. Don't always give in to those thoughts when you want to release. And it's something that, because look, you don't understand when you're a child, the energies that are brought to you or the sex acts that are performed on you or you're made to perform. Now, see, it could be a traumatic thing of force. Oh man, that's even a multiple thing. Right? So when you're physically beat down or hurt or threatened, I'm gonna kill your family type thing, whatever, that's something that's even more severe than what I went through. So what I went through was, I would say, mild in comparison to the things that I heard. I didn't even think about it. It didn't even come to me until I saw this cousin 2 decades after. And she was a very attractive woman. And I don't do incest. But I couldn't understand why when I looked at her that way. And I said, oh my God.
Right.
I was scared. I'm like, she's a cousin. She's I don't do that. In a trigger, I looked at her that way sitting on the couch, but it reminded me when I was younger and when she had my head wrapped around her thighs or her
thighs wrapped around your head.
Yeah. You see what I mean? And yes, we do, Indigo King, you're right. Sexual energy that is storing up for that next level of development as we hit certain ages. But some people go into the bank and take some of the money out. Some people go into the cookie box and take some of the cookies out before it's time.
Or make you take the cookies out.
Exactly. We get ready to eat dinner and somebody else is going and taking the dessert that's those cookies. And we realize we've been tampered with. And if we do have a lot of natural sexual energy, which I do, I'm not going to turn away from that.
Right.
But it's been misguided and tampered with. So I understand why I like the things that I like and I have the fetishes that I have. You have to understand first before you can cleanse yourself, because on the other hand, you don't want to think of everything sexual as bad and over cleanse yourself and go against your own natural desires. So at what point, like a kid scrubbing themselves because they feel they're dirty and they scrub themselves until they irritate the skin. You see what I mean? You put stripper on whatever they call it. There's some type of compound you put in the car that strips lightly a surface part of the paint that's been oxidized. But you don't put too much because it's going to strip all the paint off. At what point do you cleanse to the point of being cleansed where you're not harming yourself, running away from what happened to you, especially when it was traumatic?
Right.
A young lady who was raped and she got home and she showered, and that was a 3-hour shower. She's symbolically trying to take off what this man put on her, but she can't do it in a physical way. So we sometimes in our spiritual cleansing go against our own self so much that we bleached out.
Yeah.
That we scared to think about sex or get turned on and have fantasies righteously with the person we're with. That's a very healthy thing. And sexuality is part of our life force. And we have to understand that when we are molested, that person is not just a sex thing. It's a control and power thing, but they're going after our life force.
Exactly.
We see an innocent little boy, an innocent little girl with so much energy for the world, but they don't have that branch of their self developed on a sexual level, but they're going to go and take it anyway. Because they are vampires, these people who do this stuff to you. It ain't no sex thing. They can go to another adult and find a person to do anything. Look, you put a gun in my head and say, go out there and find your woman to do this to you and that to you. I'll get slick again with the words and find that bad boy within 20 minutes. Put me to the market.
20? That's all that's so much?
No, that's I'm giving myself more time.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time.
You see what I mean? Because it's not hard to find another person who is maybe a sex addict or down for something like that, but they ain't acting that way.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that this is real, and we need to talk to ourselves real, and we need to cleanse, we need to unite, we need to heal, and we can't heal as long as our mental health is messed up by partaking in social media more than what we should. This is what I suggest if anybody wants to ask, because I'm online many hours. Look, after we get rid of this show and it's ended, the rest of the day, we'll do something later on again. I'm going to get a little rest, a little walk, but the rest of the day, I will be online.
Right. When
you go online to protect yourself, you must be able to tell yourself why you're coming online. I'm going online because I'm researching this. I'm going online because I want to find out the news about that from multiple sources. Know what you're going online for. Don't be idle and sit there. That's when things can happen. And even if you say, I just want to check things out and be entertained, or let me see what's out there, and you're window shopping, at least say that to yourself, because you know that is your purpose. But don't lie to yourself and just surf all day.
That's right.
Is masturbating and the demons around you.
Oops, excuse me. I'm sorry.
You see?
I couldn't mute fast enough. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That happens to us. You know, a whole lot of things I wish I muted that people didn't catch when I was on a live show. Trust me.
Oh God. Well, mine is only a sneeze.
Yeah, lucky from that orifice with me was something else. You know what I mean? But something just dropped on the floor. That's all.
Gosh, you're a mess.
but also I want to say that, you know, we've been keeping up the actual chat room.
Yeah.
But nobody goes there. Now, if one person goes there and doesn't see anybody, I don't expect you to go there and sit around. But one thing that we do have, you can go to the chat room 24/7. And if you're talking on the show now and want to continue the conversation anonymously with that person, or three people or 50 people, look down at the bottom, www.LanceScurv.com/chat. LanceScurv.com/chat. There's a chat room that's there that if you say ahead of time, well, let's meet over there at 5 o'clock. Let's meet over there at 7 o'clock, or get your time zone straight. Or after the show, it's like, man, that was a good show, but I wanted to talk with somebody there. You see there on the bottom, www.LanceScurv.com/chat. That's 24 hours. It's not a forum now, because some people, man, I went to the chat room, wasn't nobody there. Well, you know, the shows you can go, or you designate a time, you can go private with this person, whatever, go check it out. I've been paying for it all these years, really, and nobody goes there.
Nobody goes there.
If you're enjoying yourself now and say, hey, by a show of hands, who wants to go to the chat? I want to continue talking about this. It's a better chat room than what YouTube gives, and you can be private. You have to sign in with either your Facebook account, or anonymously you can sign in. Twitter, Facebook, or anonymously, and make up whatever name you want, and you can go there and chat with people publicly until you get to know them, where you want to exchange an email address or a number.
Right.
I've supplied that, and because you've supported, I can keep it up. and I will keep it up. But if nobody uses it, I'm going to be like, well, let me get rid of this bad boy.
No, you're not.
Well, I know, because we've done shows on the site that weren't on YouTube. We've done live shows where we use that chat room, and it's worked out beautifully.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
So you go there by yourself and nobody's there, ain't nothing going to happen. But if you say on the show before it ends, which we're about to wrap this down now, and it's another long-winded show, which is a good one because we have the energy for it.
Yes,
but
indeed.
You can go there afterward and chat 5-10 minutes and 10 hours if you want.
Right. Here's the link to the chat. Let me just drop it in.
Live link in there that they can click on if they want to go to that particular one.
I'm gonna put it in. Did you do it already?
No. I just have it scrolling on the bottom, so you can put it there.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. Okay. And there you go. There you go, folks.
Positive energy going his way, and know that you're going to continue on his legacy. And this time on this earth is not forever, and our energies will be reunited. No, I'm just saying, Blue Velvet was speaking about her husband and the love she has for him, and how she misses him. You know what I mean? And in this world, we're going to miss people. We're going to not lose them. They're going to transition before us. But I always say, you're in Walmart, you're in the line, and that person who's with you is a few people ahead of you, and they left out of the store, but you realize they're sitting in the car waiting for you when you come out. That's the way I look at it. You see what I mean? And that's beautiful that your safety.
That's a beautiful memory. Yes.
Exactly. And see how that stays with you. Mm-hmm. And this is how, as men, whether we're married to the woman or not, we need to show this. We need to exemplify this. Yeah. And on a collective, if we have enough men who are sincerely this way, not just because they want to get a woman in the bed, but sincerely out of a sincere love, we got to put that to the side, brothers. We know our sisters are beautiful. We know they're sexy, but it can't be just that. Because like I always say, there's more than one way to love a woman righteously.
Yes, indeed.
If you rewire yourself to see a woman that is worthy of marriage or worthy of the commitment, or even if she doesn't know her worth and she is making herself available to you on those other levels, love her righteously. Let her see an example of a man who's not looking to take so fast what she's wanting to give those who are like that. Let her see that there's a man and that you can feed her in a different way than what other men break down, that even though they may be or have the righteous intentions, they may not be strong right away to be able to handle that. See?
Right.
Love you in the ways and support you and protect you and give you what your soul is hungry for and fill your voids righteously, not the void of the vagina, but the void in your heart. There will be someone who comes along and on a totally committed level can fill all your voids on all levels.
Right.
It's more of a deficiency in the heart more so than in the vagina, because a piece of dick is easy to find anywhere. And men don't realize that. You on your period and you got the flu, but you got to run out to the store. And there's a man looking at you, and that's a last thing on your mind. And you sick and tired of it. Of course you will be. And most men don't understand what women have to go through. And she's like, look at me. I'm on my period. I got the flu. I might have the diarrhea. I might have morning breath. My hair's all jacked up. I got stuff in the corner of my eye. But that man is walking with his wife and cutting his eye at me. Women have so much during the day. Even on the subtle levels, when you see these men and the way they smile at you and you know exactly what that is and you confront them on it. I didn't mean it that way. Yes, the hell you did. Because when I get around or approach a woman righteously, my body language, my language, and my eyes are kept to themselves. I'm going to show you and tell you, and I'm not saying gangster like I'm some pimp, but I'm going to show you how gangster I am on a righteous level. I was coming from the clinic with Tyrone a couple weeks back, and there was a big wedding, and the wedding had let out. And there were 3 young ladies who were righteously beautiful in the dresses they had, and they had a photographer right there taking pictures. And I said, Mrs. Scurv, hold on. I want to get a picture of those young ladies. And I walked up to them and I said, you all are looking absolutely beautiful. I said this in front of my wife. And I said, what I do online, let me show you my Instagram. And I would like to have a photo of you for my Instagram. And later on in the comment section, you can come and tag yourself. Wouldn't you know that one of the young ladies, her and I, are very close right now? Not close on some intimate level, but she likes what we do. And we made a connection. And it was beautiful. There are ways to approach people. But we have to understand with our sisters, they've been approached in too many of the wrong ways. And so they're going to look at you funny for a couple of seconds, even if you have a righteous cause and why you're going to them. But if you explain yourself and they can feel you and match you up next to those men that were coming at them the wrong way, they will easily open up to you when you're coming at them the right way.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. But we're going to wrap this up. So, go on and have the final word, my sister. This is your show. And we'll be back in the Eastern Standard Time. But
yes, we are.
We roll on and on and on and on, and it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Kwame wanted to know if you're going to do stand up. I said, I know you probably read it, but I'll just ask
I didn't
for
see it,
him.
But you mean as far as like official stand up somewhere?
Or let me. You have me stuttering.
I ain't do nothing. I ain't do that to you. I ain't do nothing to you.
Well, that is true.
you jump from the jelly into the jam.
that is true.
No,
I think he just means comedy night. I think he means comedy night.
Oh, yeah, the comedy night. And like I said, when everything is completed, I'll be standing there, and it will be that, and there'll be others that come along with me. And that's a new place for me. I don't know. You know what I mean? I might be naturally a little amusing, but that's a whole different world. But you know what? I'm going to delve into that because we can't move in fear, and we have to challenge ourselves and get into different areas of expertise. And who knows, that may be the very thing that helps get my artwork or the shows or the different things out there. Right now, I'm at a point in my life where I'm not going to say I'm going to try anything now. I ain't circle. Right. I ain't drugs. What I'm saying is that the righteous things that are in my heart, just think of the people that were apprehensive and had fear and never pushed forward to manifest those seeds of greatness that were inside of them.
Right.
And they die with it. No, like what's his name? The pastor that I said that I met that got killed in the plane crash. That I loved his spirit.
Miles Monroe. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes, I met him.
I love him.
But I was 2 or 3 rows behind where he was speaking. We locked eyes a couple times when he was speaking, and I cried when he died.
I did too.
Many of the pastors out here in this modern day, I felt what he was saying, and I checked him out, and I would say he's a real thing. I didn't see nothing about him, and that's probably why he's not here right now.
Exactly. He was waking people up, man. He was waking people up to what he calls kingdom connection, and if he was able to still be here, we wouldn't be asking a lot of these questions that we ask here on the chat. How do we unite as Black people? How do we do certain things? Because he was putting it out there, how we should see ourselves.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So you see, when people start to wake people,
And I just want to say to Raquel Martinez, she says she missed the show. We'll catch the playback. What y'all are doing. I'm glad I found this channel. My boyfriend put me on. I'm glad he put you on. I'm glad you're here. And I just want to acknowledge you so you'll see that forevermore on this show that, we're watching. And this is what we do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Black people must rise. I think they just came on and said, you're still doing your thing after all these years. So,
Yeah. This is what we live. I don't throw off on anybody else. I don't. But I told people 20 years ago when I get online, as I started 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, that I'm going to be myself. And this is a lifetime endeavor because I don't have to wear a mask or 5 different masks. This is who I am. I'm going to be me, whether you like me or not. I'm not going to try to do something to get more hits or I'm animated sometime. I'm comedic sometimes. I'm pissed off sometimes. I'm the angry black man sometimes. All the time, really.
All the time, really.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
You don't blow up the bomb all of a sudden. You use that nuclear power as you need. Every blow is not a knockout blow.
Exactly.
But this is something that we live. We live this. This brings joy to me. Look, it's the 2 hour and 44-minute mark.
I know.
We need to do 6 hours. I would sit here and not miss a beat. And it would have just as much energy toward the end as it did in the beginning. Even though I didn't even get all my sleep last night. Ain't this something? Last night, I couldn't get to sleep at all. No,
I wonder why.
No.
I wonder why.
I'm blessed with enthusiasm. I want to say curse. I'm blessed with enthusiasm. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this has been so much more than we anticipated because, we had agreed that we were going to keep it to a certain amount of time, but it was so good. We loved what you were saying and you were hitting all these points righteously, and we couldn't just get off. We couldn't just say, okay, let's, thankfully, we don't have scheduled programmings that came behind this one. You know what I'm saying? So exactly, we're not a platform that has sponsors that need to have certain things dropped in at certain time. So we can do as we damn well please. We can do our 90 minutes or we can do 3 hours. It's up to us.
Exactly.
But I just want to say thank you to everybody that came in this morning, that rode with us, did your morning exercise, doing your housework, feeding your kids, whatever the hell it is, still laying in bed. Because I'm still sitting up in my bed. I didn't even take on my pajamas. TMI, I'm still in my pajamas.
Imagine that those on the West Coast, it's much earlier for them too. So it's still pretty much a morning show for them, a rising show.
Exactly.
So we kind of timed it that way,
Right, exactly. So thank you all for being here. As a topic, the topic said, social media toxic effect on the mental health of our Black community. Listen, use social media to the minimum. Use it for what's going to edify you. Don't just be on there just for the hell of being on there. I would never tell anyone get off of social media because it has its benefits.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? And we have to recognize that we can't be stupid. But my favorite word, and Eric, if he's still around, he knows this is my favorite statement. Be mindful. That's it. So go out there, guys. Have a wonderful day. May all things work to your favor. And we'll see you again, hopefully, in the rising. Brother Lance?
Yes, my dear sister.
As usual, you are an amazing, wonderful guest. And I will always have you on this show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's such an honor. Yes,
You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care, guys.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll be back later on, something that's not scheduled, but we will be back 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And we don't know what the topic is going to be, but it's going to be hot. And Priscilla G, I love you so much. Thank you. And we will talk shortly.
Yes, indeed, sir.